Sports.com. All news.
Gone Girl.
Anticipate. Don't improvise.
Michael Fassbender.
Forbid empathy. Empathy is weakness. Weakness is vulnerability. This is what it takes if you want to succeed.
The Killer. Rated R. Under 17. Not admitted without parent. Now playing. Only on Netflix.
Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, small business owner. Are you ready to have the best year ever in 2024? When's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But Pi Insurance could save you up to 30% in just 3 minutes. Go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for your business. No hassles or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could make this your best year ever. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford.
At Sactown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes, yes, yes. Stiles and Watkins on a Tuesday, going up 400 on a Tuesday. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, 400th win for Coach Mike Brown as the Kings take care of business against the Cavs. And if you're wondering, yes, I was sitting next to Chris for that Davon Mitchell unmasterclass.
Oh, yeah, you were.
And really, it was more of a masterclass about Keegan Murray putting the clamps on. In football now, the DBs are doing the strap, like the seatbelt, just like Dave said. Wear your seatbelts on National Seatbelt Day, but wear them every day. Had the straps on Donovan Mitchell. He really couldn't do much, and the shots that he did make were extremely tough. Extremely tough shots, but that's what Donovan Mitchell does, and he hoisted up a ton of them. Most of them didn't go in. He was completely silent in the first half. Keegan Murray, could he be elite two ways? We got to talk about that. As the Kings win a beam on a Monday, again, to end our no case of the Mondays, a beam on a Monday,
Send it home.
132 to 120. The Kings get it done. Chris Beerman joins us, Candlestick Chronicles at 11. We'll talk about Brock Purdy or, Josh Allen. That question's not so crazy anymore. It was crazy about 2 months ago.
Yeah. Well, maybe even 2 days ago.
Maybe even 2 days ago. It is not crazy anymore. We got some numbers to back that up. And it's the return. 11:15. It's been a while. What? Over a week,
It's
maybe?
been over a week, yeah.
11:15, the return of Beeman or Dreamin'. Yes, it's that time as the Kings finish off a homestand and get ready to go on the road. Beeman or Dreamin' at 11:15. We have our Trucksmart Drive of the Week. That's coming up at 1 o'clock as well. And our dog of the game. And Nate is behind the glass, so you know the dog of the game is going to be spicy. That's at 12:15. Loaded show for you today, 10 a.m., 2 p.m., as our shows align with the days. This is the only time I think this will ever happen in the history of the show. 14th show on the 14th day of the month. We'll continue that for the rest of the week. Good stuff. I don't know how we pulled that off, but we did. Chris Watkins.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, my guy?
Pretty phenomenal. I mean, it was a great looking beam last night. The Kings played, I think, better than what any of us could have anticipated about 24 hours ago. And we even got the surprise of De'Aaron Fox entering the lineup and entering the rotation. And that was just great to see. The Kings look like the Kings of last year, and it feels good to not really be stressed or anxious about this team anymore. I talked about that a lot last night after the game. Just the amount of anxiety heading into all of these games, just trying to figure out, okay, are they going to be okay? Or is this going to be another performance like Houston where they just completely bottle it and look terrible and look like a shell of themselves? And we just continue to talk about how are they going to dig themselves out of this hole, or if they'll ever dig themselves out of this hole. And last night just felt cathartic. It felt like a spiritual experience almost, where they released all the demons. De'Aaron Fox comes back and they have probably their best game of the season. I don't think it's a coincidence. It was great basketball to watch, and I can't wait to talk about it all day.
I don't even know where to start in terms of what we watched.
Ridiculous.
Right? And I think the best place to start would be the head of the snake, and that's Mike Brown. I was in the post-game press conference, and a lot of people asked a lot of good questions, and he did a lot of reflecting back on his career with LeBron. He named off about maybe 25 players, possibly 30 players between the Cavs, the Lakers, the Cavs again, and now the Kings. So just really happy for Coach Mike Brown and that accomplishment. He said he didn't even realize it until the game was over, and they wanted him to get the DPOG crown and sit on the throne. And he said, what do you guys want? He was still kind of going over the game, still had the juices flowing, and they said that was your 400th win. So he had no clue until after the game. And obviously everybody really happy for him, whether you've been in your career an elder statesman like a JaVale McGee, or somebody really young in their career like Keegan Murray. I think everybody, and that picture heard around the world, throwing up the fours with the crown tilted. You can't even see his eyes. That is the hardest photo. That is the coldest photo I think I've ever seen from a coach.
Insane. I mean, Mike Brown he's the gift that keeps on giving. It's really incredible. We don't deserve him. I don't think anybody truly deserves the incredible memes or whatever, the moments that this man has created in just his short 1.5 or 1 and some change year tender. Like, this dude has brought the scream, the turn the Jets on last year, just all the excitement, the energy, putting his foot on the table and saying Malik Monk should be 6th man of the year. And then just what we saw last night with the crown was just, it was incredible. It's so funny. And you could feel, like in the past, there's been, coaches like Dave Yeager, who's just kind of a disciplinarian, someone who's not trying to be your friend. And then the Kings went through Luke Walton, who, people kind of accused of being the opposite, where he's not much of a disciplinarian and definitely more of a vibes guy. And it feels like Mike Brown has that perfect balance of he's a real human. Like, you can have real conversations with him, but you also respect him. Like, you definitely, he has that teacher, the authoritarian respect of these guys, of these grown men, but also understands how to relate with them on a real level and get the best performances out of them. He's really, it's incredible how perfect of a hire he was for this team. Like, we can't forget, when the Kings were in their coaching search for Mike Brown, the 3 finalists were Steve Clifford, Mark Jackson, and Mike Brown, and just how differently this team would have looked here today if they would have gone with either of those 2 other candidates. I can't imagine there being anybody else that makes sense for what this Kings team was trying to accomplish in Mike Brown. And I don't think anyone else realistically could have brought it to this point as quickly as Mike Brown has.
He's the cool dad that you still respect.
1,000%.
Because some cool dads, they try to be too much of your friend.
Yes.
Right? And then next thing you know.
It's like Mean Girls.
Right, exactly. Next thing you know, you try to discipline your kid. And, hey, you're the cool dad. I'm not going to listen to you. I thought we were boys. No, I'm your dad. Mike Brown has that perfect balance, as you stated. And I don't even know if it's close. Mike Brown is probably the most entertaining coach in the NBA. And I don't even know who's second.
Yeah, I have no idea who, like Popovich, but for almost a completely different reason, where he's playing into how boring he can be sometimes. Yeah. No, because coaches almost take themselves too seriously. It's almost like, we kind of see just such a counterbalance with Mike McDaniel, or Mike McDaniel in Miami, where it's like, those guys are just so, like, that's almost what the new age of coaching, if I had to imagine, that's what it's going to look like. It's going to be a lot more of guys like Mike Brown, guys like Mike McDaniel, who don't take themselves too seriously. It feels like coaching has always been one of those things where it's about how hard you can work and how serious you can be, and how seriously you can be taken by your players and respected by your others. And instead of just enjoying the game and having fun and understanding that these are humans that you're dealing with at the end of the day. And the best way you're going to get performances out of them is by treating them like actual people, and not treating them like you are some authoritarian figure that's here to set them straight. Like, Mike Brown just understands the balance of it. And he really does feel like the perfect coach for this era, or this new era of basketball.
And it's all about, life is about evolving. Because if you think back to Mike Brown, who coached LeBron, I don't know that he was like this.
No, he talks about that all the time. How the Warriors experience really changed him.
Right. So, to be with the Cavs and to be with the Lakers and be with one of the best players of this generation in LeBron James.
Multiple. I mean, he was with Tim Duncan and David Robinson in San Antonio, then goes to LeBron, and then just casually hops over from LeBron to Kobe. And then, with the Warriors, maybe the best dynasty definitely the best dynasty of this modern era. Like, he's been incredible. Like, I don't know if there's anyone who's been more fortunate or more blessed to be in great situations that Mike Brown has.
Yeah, he's definitely up there with the Phil Jackson of the world, the Steve Kerrs of the world. And the other thing is, he understands greatness and he understands what it takes to be a champion. So to have that in Sacramento with this Kings team, I don't know what more you can ask for. Got to get to a break. When we get back, we will continue talking about how the Kings are back. Chris Beerman at 11. Brock or Josh Allen, we got that for you as well. Beaming or dreaming at 11:15. We're coming back with that Trucksmart Drive of the Week coming up as well. And the dog of the game at 12:15. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
One of the things with running is I want to enjoy the run, but I never made it very far because the arches on my feet just killed me. So when I got to the end of my rope and I said, I have to do something to get rid of the pain, and a couple of people recommended the Good Feet store to me. I loved how I could go in and get a free personalized arch support fitting. They put that time, that work, that effort into helping you find the right arch supports. And you can walk around the store with these in your shoes and try them out before you purchase them. So after I got my arch supports, the arches on my feet stopped hurting and the pain instantly, literally instantly went away. So if you have pain, go. Find a Good Feet store and go. There is an answer. Find the simple solution that will get rid of your pain. I'm Rondi, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store. Knee, hip, foot, leg, or back pain?
Because the Kings are back. The vibes are vibing.
Yes, sir.
We are feeling
Vibing
good
hard
about what the Kings have done, and it does seem like they have returned to form. Yesterday, we asked the question, will the real Sacramento Kings please stand up? Please stand up. And we said, look, you beat the Thunder, and it was impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But if you come out and lay an egg against the Cavs, we're going to start thinking, okay, still got some work to do. And they still have work to do.
Mm-hmm.
But to come out and to be firing on all cylinders, and I see you on the text line, 530. How about that Kevin Huerter, boys? I was there, and it felt like the arena ceiling was going to blow off when he started hitting those shots.
Man.
That is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
And you know what? Some people aren't very patient. I'm not one of those. I am one of those people. I'm not very patient. And I think a lot of the Beam regime or the kingdom felt the same way.
Yeah.
You have these expectations. You have bad intentions on your mind after losing that game. So let's come out and let's show what we can do. Hold on. Let's get lathered a bit. Let's get some motion first. It's going to take a little bit. And then what do we have? We have Sabonis with 23, a ho-hum, another double-double, one rebound away from a triple-double.
Another one.
What else do we have? Keegan Murray. Oh, not only am I going to bust out of my slump, it wasn't just a return of De'Aaron Fox.
Nope.
It was the return of Keegan Murray's jump shot, the return of the three-point shot from Keegan Murray, 5 for 8 from the field, 25 points, 9 for 13 from the field. Sorry, three-point range, 5 for 8, 2 for 2, free throws, and he put the clamps. He strapped up Davon Mitchell. What else do we got?
What else?
The return of De'Aaron Fox, the Foxy one.
Come on.
11 for 20 field goals, 2 for 6 for three-point land, a plus 17 on the night.
Come on.
28 points.
Easy.
Yeah,
I thought
back.
he was hurt.
They asked in the post-game, hey, did you feel limited? Well, it didn't look like he was.
Yeah.
And he said, actually, he did feel it a little bit at times. He had to stretch it out a bit. And that's De'Aaron Fox, not 100%. And just to close it out, Kevin Huerter, we saw our first Kevon sighting, maybe second Kevon sighting of the season. 6 for 9 from three-ball land, 20 points, 7 for 11 from field goals. Kevin Huerter returns. And I might not want to forget, when you talk about the depth of the Kings, there's a guy, a lot of people have had some thoughts about him.
Yeah.
He's been memed because of his great follow-through, but it doesn't matter what it looks like as long as it goes in.
Exactly.
And Sasha Vezenkov, come on down.
Come on.
11 points, 3 for 5 from three-ball land, and we might have a guy. And everybody is competing defensively. They are feeling real good. And might I say, in the words of the book of Chance the Rapper, and we back, and we back.
Feels great, and it feels fantastic. Yeah, I mean, just what a coming out party last night, and it was so perfect with De'Aaron coming back. Everybody just seemed at ease. Like, it really did feel like everyone kind of took a breath, looked around, said, we got our guy back. I feel like this is a great opportunity to just kind of to pounce, and they looked great. And it frankly really did all start with Keegan Murray locking down Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, he had 0 points at the end of that first quarter. He was 0 of 5, and at that point, the Kings got off to an incredible start. They were up almost 10 points at the end of that first quarter, and it set the tone. We talked a lot yesterday about some of the paths for Cleveland to victory, and the clear and obvious one was Donovan Mitchell dropping 30 plus. We talked about how many points you had to hold Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell under. The Kings clearly had a similar conversation as well, where they understood Mitchell was going to have the ball in his hands a lot, and they were pretty much going to live and die with how he performed. And shout out Keegan Murray, man. I cannot believe it. After we saw in that Warrior game with De'Aaron Fox, the first game out for De'Aaron, he took the pressure of guarding Steph Curry the entire game. We saw his shot struggle because of it. Tonight was the evolution, again, in real time for Keegan Murray, where you see him be able to defend the other team's best player for the entirety of the game. He guarded Donovan Mitchell for, I think, a total of 10 to 15 total game minutes, which is more than anybody else had to guard their single assignment for. Held him to 2 of 10 from the field. He just completely shut him down, made his life difficult all night long, and then, like you said, had a coming out party offensively as well. It was an incredible night, and we've been waiting. We have literally been waiting all season long for Kevin and Keegan to have a game where they both are hitting their threes. And last night was almost the ultimate example of that. The fact that they combined for 11 threes on, 14 shots. They were 11 of 14. Is that even right? No, that's not right. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at.
I know they combined for 11.
11 of 17 from 3 between the two of them. Just incredible. And we've been talking about it, and it was getting tough to say, look, if they just make their shots, this looks a whole lot different. But this is a perfect example, almost an extreme example of if they hit their open looks, which, by the way, tons of open looks yesterday,
all day,
endless open looks. I don't remember many tough shots that they had to take yesterday. Just so many open looks. They actually knocked them down, and they knocked them down and then some, to shoot just below 60% from the field, just below 50% from 3. This is the kind of night that when they're clicking, when all things are clicking, it's almost impossible to beat this team.
Yeah, it is. And that's not to say they're going to shoot like this every single game.
No.
And we'll talk a little bit later in the show about what's repeatable and what's not. But what is repeatable is the defense. And what is repeatable is the effort that you can put out on defense. And what we saw from the Kings is that they are willing to do that. And if you're the Cavs, if you look here, all 5 of the Cavs starters are in double figures. Right? The thing is, it's that bend but don't break mentality. And shout out Keon Ellis, or should I say Darrell Revis. You put somebody on Ellis Island.
Come on.
Island.
Come on.
I think we got something.
Come on.
We put a guy on Ellis Island, and you're not going to have to deal with him anymore. So between Keegan starting to elevate his game as a two-way. And I think defense is one of those things where if you're in the building, you feel it. If you're watching TV, you got the surround sound going, you feel it as well, because everybody is buying in. And you would say, oh, man, all 5 of their guys got into double figures, but you limited all of them. That bend, don't break. Mitchell only had 22. Garland only had 16. So Evan Mobley, I'm okay with your 16.
Totally.
Max Strus, I'm okay with your 19. We can live with it because, oh, by the way, on our side, we good on this side because we had 4 dudes not only in double figures, we had 4 dudes over 20 points or at 20 points. So if you combine those things together, the Kings, they're not going to lose very many games playing like this. Now, will they shoot like this every game? No. But if you defend like this, you're going to give yourself a chance. And we've been continuing to talk about, will the real Kings please stand up? We knew this is the first game where we saw their ceiling offensively. Right? We knew how bad it could be. We've been watching how bad it could be. How good could it be? And this is what we're seeing. Will it be at this level every single night? Probably not. Most likely not. But the fact that you can get here, and if you find some median that's closer to this than what we've seen the last couple games, you're going to be right where Coach Mike Brown thought that they would be, a team that is better offensively, maybe not as efficient because efficiency would be tough to replicate what they did last season, But at the same time, we are going to be better defensively, and we'll get those defensive ratings for the Kings. Because they ain't, what were they last year, 21? Something like that, 22, 23?
They might have even been 24.
They were in the 20s,
yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
They're not there anymore. So if you continue to play offensively and you get into the teens, and the way they're playing defense, they could be better than the teens. They could be 12. They could be a tween, right? They could be 11, 12 years old, something like that. So I'm really excited from what I'm seeing from the Kings. I know it's only one game. We'll see if you can take this defense on the road, but they feel invigorated. They feel like they got a pep in their step, and that's what they needed.
Yeah, I just want to throw three quick numbers in here before we head to break. One, 3 of the 4 games the Kings have now played with De'Aaron Fox, where he's been involved in the lineup, the Kings have scored 130 plus. So when we talk about, is this sustainable? What looks different? What is the key? It's very clear that when De'Aaron Fox plays, we already knew this. We witnessed this the past 3 games, but this team goes to a whole nother level, and it's almost effortless. You almost don't even. We didn't. I think we took it for granted with De'Aaron out there because even in those first 2, or in 3 or 2 of those first 3 games, the Laker game and the Jazz game, I wouldn't say that the Kings were clicking, or it didn't feel at any point like it felt yesterday. And so the fact that they can get to 130 almost effortlessly with De'Aaron in the lineup, incredible. Number 2 is. The Kings are now 5-4, which puts them first place right now in the Pacific Division. The Warriors have lost 3 straight. That was definitely something I wanted to notice. And last number I completely forgot. So let's go to break.
Well, we'll talk about the Warriors a little bit when we get back, because when the Kings get back from their road trip, they're going to have to face the Warriors. But at the end of the day, how's the weather down there to the rest of the Pacific Division? Come on. Because it feels good up here.
Feels great.
It feels great. Got to get to a break. When we get back, again, we have Chris Beerman at 11. We're going to switch it up. We know he's Candlestick Chronicles, but Chris Beerman was in the building, so we're going to talk Kings with him as well. Beaming or dreaming, 11:15. Dog of the game at 12:15. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
I always approach the holidays with a sense of excitement and a time to be with family. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. From the time I was a youngster, the family table was always filled with a gathering of grandparents, uncles, aunts, brothers, and sisters. It was that way at my Noni's home, especially at my mother's home, and today at my own home around my Naturewood dining table. The order of the day is stories, the sweet sound of children laughing. Thanks for all the blessings we each enjoy, and of course, food. Always lots of food. Home is always adorned with special trimmings which remind of past gatherings, good times shared, and relatives that have passed on. Family-owned Naturewood Home Furnishings recognizes the significance of the holidays, and buyers pay special attention to find the distinctive pieces of furniture that you'll love for its individuality today and treasure for memories you'll have tomorrow. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Hey, y'all. This is Bill with the Good Guys. Call Good Guys Heating and Cooling for all your home comfort needs. Are you tired of big companies overcharging? Have you received a jaw-dropping price for repairs, replacement of your HVAC system? Good Guys are here to help. We offer free second opinions. We guarantee to beat any quote for repair or replacement from the big companies out there. We got the best price, best service, guaranteed. And that's no bull.
Call 530-GOOD-AIR. License number 1057618.
Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports, 10 a.m., 2 p.m. If you are just now joining us, thank you for joining. If you've been listening, thank you for rocking with your boys. We got you 10 a.m., 2 p.m. every day, 14th official show. And it's a good one. Chris Beerman at 11, Candlestick Chronicles. But we also got some Kings going with Chris as well. He was in the building. We were hanging out. So we will talk shop with the Kings, about the Kings. Brock or Josh Allen, that's a little bit later in the show. Beamin' or Dreamin', 11:15, our Trucksmart Drive of the Week at 1 o'clock, and our Dog of the Game at 12:15. As we break down the Kings' win over the Cavaliers, a great win and against a great team in the Cavs. I mean, I know you talked about the Cavs just very shadily going down to the Knicks in the playoffs, but on paper, what did we talk about? A team that's long and a team that's also quick, because you got the two quick guards. It's a really well-built team. Yeah. And we talked about the importance, and I think the biggest thing with the Kings is being able to shoot when you know you have to shoot. Yeah. Chris and I on this show talk a lot about playing pickup. I don't know when I'll be back due to my Achilles, but I will be. We on the way. Got to keep that physical therapy back. No, we solid. And when you're shooting and you understand we're probably going to get the rebound, we're a better team, you shoot more effortlessly, right? Sure. And a lot of times those are the balls that go in. When you're facing a team where you know, hey, we got Sabonis, but they got two trees down there, so with Jared Allen and Mobley, so we really got to be on our P's and Q's and make these buckets. So for the Kings to know that and be, after struggling, right? Kevin Huerter had a breakout game last game, but after struggling, if you're Keegan Murray, if you're some of these guys that have had a rough, Malik Monk 3 for 5, and he was struggling from 3-ball land. So to understand the stakes, and we talk about the yips, and we talk about how a lot of this is mental, because you'll sit there and watch Kevin Huerter and Keegan Murray make 15 threes in a row in practice. And some of these shots are so wide open, it's basically just like practice, but you're not hitting them. So to be able to come out, to understand we have to make these open shots because the lane is closed for business, just like you're driving on 80 or 5 north on the way home at 12 at night, that's what really stuck out to me. And the last thing I will say is this, Chris. One thing that was really important, we were sitting next to each other. I didn't say anything to you because I talked too much when watching the game. I know you got post-game. You did a great job on post-game, by the way, and I want to make sure that you're focused. That first three-pointer by Keegan Murray in the corner where he pump faked. Yes, we actually did talk about this, and he bricked it, and we said, just shoot it. He's thinking too much. He didn't do that again, and I wonder, I didn't ask him last night because so many people had a lot of questions. I wonder if somebody said something to him, or I wonder if he just said, you know what, I got to just let this thing fly. And after that, he did not do that again. And I do wonder if something happened because he kind of,
he almost, I think he gathered himself to almost try and make it like a, okay, I have time, let me relax and shoot. But a lot of the time, like you're saying, like a lot of the times when you're in the flow state, that's the best time to take the shot is when you're in rhythm. And when you slow it down and take that moment to gather yourself, you know, some people will take that little side dribble and gather it back. That's when you think about it. That's when the thoughts start to, it's like a golf swing where, you know, you want to be thinking about as few things as possible. And then the second you think, okay, clear your mind, that's when my knees, where's my ball position, all that stuff.
Lock the elbow out.
Okay, make sure this is the most picture-perfect jump shot possible, and those are the ones that you always miss. And that's a fantastic point, because after that, you saw no hesitation in his shot at all. And, if you take that 1-3, his first 3 off the board, he hit 6 of his next 8. So he clearly found some sort of rhythm, and I do think that a big part of it was Mike Brown probably yelled at him and said, stop hesitating and just trust yourself. Just play basketball and don't make it any more difficult than it needs to be, because frankly, I'm sure they all felt the relaxing presence of De'Aaron as well, where there's not as much pressure to make this one shot too. Because like you said, when you're playing pickup and you know, like you get the offensive rebound, or you just know that you're a better team than the one you're going against, you play a lot more free. But the second you feel the pressure of, if I don't make this, like we need me to make this, or else, you know, who knows if we're going to score enough points tonight. If I don't have it, you know, all those thoughts are going through your head. It's just a different way of playing the game, and it's not something anybody can notice either until you know, you look at the numbers after the game. So definitely, I think it might not be fair, but I'm going to attribute that as well. I'm going to attribute all the shooting last night for the most part to De'Aaron Fox being there, and just the calming presence, and the fact that the team knows that, look, we have our superhero out there and we're at full strength. So if I can just contribute my tiny part, no longer does it mean Kevin Huerter has to play well, or else this game's not going to go in the Kings' favor. They can play with a little bit more freedom.
We're feeling so good that even though Beamin' or Dreamin' isn't until 11:15, We are going to open up the phone lines right now, 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. We see the texts rolling in. We see the calls rolling in as well. But, Chris, you had a crazy stat about Keegan Murray that I wanted you to get to.
Yes, the stat I forgot. The third thing I forgot and before we went to break was the Kings are now, after last night's, 25-point performance from Keegan Murray, the Kings are now 14-1 in games in which Keegan Murray scores over 20 points.
That's crazy.
I mean, that just tells you, much like, I always point out the fact me and Frankie always talk about when Harrison Barnes plays well, the Kings tend to play well. When Keegan Murray can get over 20 points in a game, that usually means, again, much like last night, Sabonis probably is also hovering around 20. De'Aaron, more nights than not, is going to be significantly above 20 as well. It's just that extra scoring punch that the Kings need to be this explosive offense that we saw last night and we know they're capable of. It just does so much for, again, spreading the wealth. I heard De'Aaron in the postgame yesterday talk about how, their offense really isn't built around Fox getting 40, Sabonis getting 20, and then just hoping for contributions from someone else. They spread the wealth truly, and I think that number is a really good sign of when they're spreading the ball out at their best, when they're getting their third scorer involved and getting him scoring. The team just is so tough to beat because of how many – you only have two eyeballs, you only have 2 feet, you only have 2 hands. You can only guard one guy at a time or put your focus on one guy at a time. If you're worried about De'Aaron Fox driving, but he also has Sabonis down in the post, but also has Keegan Murray in the corner, but Kevin Huerter up top, and Harrison Barnes or Malik Monk in the other corner, that's just too many things to try and keep contained and keep stopping. You have to pick your poison. So, again, I just think that number is a really good showing of how dangerous this Kings team is when they can get multiple guys scoring, not just their 2 guys that we all expect it from.
Right. And later in the show, we're going to talk about how the Kings stack up in the West because, like you said, some teams have already played 11. The Kings have played 9. Yeah. So we're around that 10-game mark. We will do a full breakdown after the game in LA because that will officially be their 10th game. But we do want to talk about how they stack up in the West because we talk about ceilings with the Niners and how good the Niners look when they hit their ceiling. This is the first time I believe that we saw the ceiling of the Kings, and it looks darn good. And it looks like something that when we were discussing Beeman or Dreamin' initially, or when you were at Media Day with Whitey and the question was, hey, championship, or what are your thoughts? Are you just trying to be better? And every team wants to be a champion. Every team wants to talk about being a champion. But this was the first time you saw the Kings and you could put them in the conversation of, I don't know if it's going to look like this every day, but if it looked close to this, they definitely are a contender.
If they can play like that 4 of 7 games.
Right, that's it.
That's all it takes.
That's it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That was the problem with last year. That's the recipe that we saw how this Kings team could play for the majority of last regular season, and I think that's what made the playoffs so frustrating was I really still contest that there was only one game where I felt like the Kings looked like their regular season game, and that was game 4 in which they lost to the Warriors anyway. I think that was 126-125. That was the Harrison Barnes missed 3 game. So, like, this is exactly what the Kings want to do, to your point. I was looking at the numbers so far this season. This is the first time all year the Kings have shot above 50% from the field, period. Their previous high was 47% against the Lakers. Also the first time they've shot above 40%, or even 37% was their highest mark before this in game 1. So last night, again, is the exact example, again, to the extreme, but that's an example of what the Kings want to look like. They want to shoot above 50% from the field. They want to shoot somewhere near 40% from 3. And can we just not talk about free throws? I'm so glad that free throws didn't come into the game yesterday, but De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, if they're going to continue to miss free throws at the rate in which they have so far this season, more specifically Sabonis, the Kings are going to lose so many games that they don't need to lose. Last night, they missed 8 free throws, shot 63%. Sabonis was 6 of 11 from the free throw line. Those are the kind of things that can end up getting you messed up on a night where you shoot 60% from 3, you shoot almost 50%. You can't leave it open and miss that many free throws. And imagine how many points the Kings would have had if they hit those free throws. We're talking about 140 to 120 at that point.
Yeah, it's something to keep an eye on. And I don't even know if keep an eye on is the right term because we know it's an issue.
That's the thing.
The question is, are you going to be able to fix the issue?
Is it going to hurt you? Is it ultimately going to be the death of you? Like, this is one of those things where, last year I talk a lot about the Knicks game where the Knicks got tons of offensive rebounds, but the Kings ended up winning. And it was a sign of what was ending up going to be the death of this team was offensive rebounding. And it's just kind of had that feel that with the amount of free throws they've missed, and I know they practice, tons of people say, oh, why don't they just practice free throws? How's Dwight Howard a 50% free throw shooter? These guys practice free throws. It's quite literally one of the only things we see in the media when we go to practices is they do this free throw drill, and if you miss, then the entire team runs a gasser, and then you have to take the second free throw. It's one of the only things we actually see them practice, and they still can't hit free throws. It just makes me nervous that at some point they're going to lose some games, hopefully not playoff games, because of the simple fact that they can't make free throws. And we've seen it here in Sacramento. Shaquille O'Neal, we had to go against Shaq. We definitely implemented the hack-a-Shaq rule. If Sabonis is going to continue to shoot near 50% from the free throw line, people are going to start fouling him at the end of games, and it's going to become like a Ben Simmons situation where you have to wonder, do we take this guy out in crunch time because people are just going to foul him?
Yeah, and what I think the whole hack-a-Shaq thing was a bit frowned upon, but how they do it now is we're just going to make sure you don't get the shot up. Right. Yes. So if you're down in the paint, we're just going to foul you nice and healthy.
Just grab you, wrap around you.
And you can go to the line and have fun at the line because it's a very lonely place. So something to keep an eye on. But the vibes are still back, and they still got the W.
Incredible.
And until it does cost the Kings a W in a prime time and a very important game, we'll just have to wait and see because that's really all we can do. Got to get to a break. When we get back, we will talk about championship windows. The Bills, they got dangerous last night. Yikes. And the question now is their window closed? And we will pull that back to the Niners and the Kings. Chris Beerman at 11 o'clock and beaming or dreaming at 11:15. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
$400 new Hondas at Stockton Honda during Happy Honda Days. Shop in person or online with our express purchase option.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas Gas Guzzler. They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports.
Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up AutoSave in the Chase mobile app. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools, one bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
AutoSave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Stick to the plan. Trust no one. From the director of Seven, Fight Club, and Gone Girl. Anticipate. Don't improvise. Michael Fassbender. Forbid empathy. Empathy is weakness. Weakness is vulnerability. This is what it takes if you want to succeed. The Killer. Rated R. Under 17. Not admitted without parent. Now playing. Only on Netflix.
Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Talking all things Kings. Got some little bit of Niners for you as well, because, by the way, they're rolling too. It's good to be in Sacramento right now.
Great.
Enjoying good barbecue like I did on Sunday. I got to be cool, though. I got to be cool now, though, because, you know, we're not going paleo, but we're going semi. We're chilling a little bit.
Okay.
We're just now that we're fully moved, there's no more excuses. We got to chill in the takeout.
So what's getting restricted?
So, for example, like we'll make a pasta, like my wife made a pasta last night with the low carb pasta and ground turkey with the meat. That's like what we do. Now I gotta still not have 3 helpings because that destroys it. Yeah. But that is it. And I'm big on, I think the rule is you're not supposed to eat after the 12-hour mark. So if you wake up at 7 a.m., you're not supposed to eat again after 7 p.m.
Is that intermittent fasting? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. Okay. Like Terry Crews, that's how I get down.
Okay.
When I get down, I get down.
You're Crews like
Terry Crews.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying he is probably one of the most famous intermittent fasters.
Where did you get barbecue from? Did you do it yourself?
Yeah, no. So Joe Jaros, our own Joe Jaros, responded to my Alan Asks Q&A on Twitter. Thank you for all the responses. And he came through with Urban Roots. So that's where I went.
Good. Yeah.
It was fire.
Okay, cool.
It was fire. So keep them coming. I'm trying to think of my next question. Maybe I'll ask you, Chris. It's not going to all be food.
Right.
It's going to be once I'm back hooping, you know.
Where are the good courts?
Where the good courts, right? Best sushi, things like that. So be on the lookout.
Got it all.
Of course, Nate, you can hop in as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And hop into the win column. And that's what the Kings did, winning 132-120. But I did want to pull this around, Chris, so basically when we're downstairs in the media room, they have other games on. So we're watching the Broncos. And for some reason, I was in Russ We Trust mood. I was trolling everyone about Russell Wilson, and it turned out because they won.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I had nothing on the game, nothing like that. And the Bills, we literally watched that last play. It's when the third quarter had kind of just started, to where the Bills had 12 men on the field. The Broncos missed the kick, and then they get to re-kick. Why? I don't know why the Broncos did the kneel and didn't spike it. I think he was just trying to get the hash mark, I'm guessing. So that's what they did. And you talk about the Bills, and now Stephon Diggs is brother Trayvon Diggs is saying, get him out of there. I don't know where Stephon would go because he needs the ball so much. So if you go to the Raiders, you got Devontae Adams. Yep. You go to the Eagles, so I don't know where he would go.
I think he should just play quarterback.
Right. You go to the Cowboys and you got CeeDee Lamb, so you're not going to be happy, Stephon.
No.
And the question becomes, and a little later we'll talk Josh Allen and Brock Purdy, and the question being asked around national media is the Bills window closed? And I still talk about, I think we talked about it at dinner yesterday, if they win that coin flip,
right?
Who knows? Because they might beat the Bucs. We'll never know, right? But the question now is that window closed? And pulling it back to the Kings and Niners, that is why it is so important to take advantage. Not that anybody's trying to lose, but when you have that window, you got to act. And I know this is not a day where we're sorry to the trade generator fans.
We love y'all.
This is not a day for the Kings trade generator. There will be plenty of days for that. Hopefully not too many. Yeah. But today is not that day.
I've been working some things up, though.
Oh, my goodness. He's been cooking. He's in the kitchen cooking. So when you talk about the Niners and you talk about the Kings and you say, okay, how this window, it's not that open. I would say it's much more important for the Niners than the Kings at this point in time. Yeah. But it just can close so quickly.
For sure.
The Raiders and the Bills have the same record.
It's insane.
In the year of 2023.
Throw up all over the place. When I saw that last night, I legitimately could not believe it. The fact that the Bills and the Raiders are sitting at both at 5-5 right now. If that doesn't sober you up as a Bills fan, I don't know what else will. But to go to the Niners thing, in the Kings championship window talk, I feel like if you are the Kings, like I love how the Niners have approached their championship window, like just the way that how aggressive John Lynch has been in acquiring guys like Christian McCaffrey. And then we see him, bringing even something as small as Randy Gregory. And then again, of course, with Chase Young, just never being satisfied. I really think I talked about it when the deals happen, but every GM talks about, we always want to keep flexibility. Monty talks about that all the time, wanting to keep flexibility at all times, never feeling satisfied, always feeling like you can make tiny adjustments on the edges and what that can do for your team. A lot of people talk about it, but not many people are actually about that action, especially not in football where the trade deadline is nowhere near as active.
You're not about that life. Yeah.
John Lynch has been about that life and then some, just with how seriously he's taking this championship window and also Jed York as well. Like Jed York had to fork out all that money to make the Bosa contract a thing. He paid Trent Williams. Now, is his negotiating style the most conducive to a happy locker room? Maybe not at all times. He definitely, likes to drag those talks out as long as possible. And then eventually the players end up getting the money they ask for. But it just with how seriously and how much attention to detail they have given the building of this team, and truly, again, just never being satisfied. I think it's the fact that the Niners have just reached the NFC Championship so many times and the Super Bowl a couple of times and just not been able to taste victory. That lack of satisfaction, I think, has driven them. But I just hope that the Kings take note of that. And I think we're seeing it right now is kind of where, we're starting to see, is Harrison going to be somebody who, the Kings realistically should have on their team for the next 3 years? Should they look to make some upgrades, maybe take another step a little bit closer towards all in? I just hope that the Kings and Monty McNair more specifically really always looks at making this team better and never really settles. And I think we saw that with the Sabonis trade, but it's about the next one you make, because there's always things that have to be tightened up. And again, I just think John Lynch has done a fantastic job of kind of being the model of always addressing your team's needs and never just saying, we'll figure it out, or, I think we're good enough, or we have enough talent already at that position. You can always add if you're not satisfied.
Yeah. And, like I said, we've been trying to be extremely positive, right, about the Kings, because there's nothing to not be positive about. But if you are looking for a negative, and we're not going to play the game because we're not trying to be disrespectful, we're trying to have a good time here after a big Kings win. But yes, Harrison Barnes played 22 minutes, which his minutes are going down, and that's probably based on the lack of production. He had 4 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. And you bring up that name Because at this point, you have no choice.
Yep.
Right? You have no choice because when everybody else is, if you look at the box score, is fully loaded.
Yep.
Right? It's like when you go get a burrito or something and you're looking for, okay, I got a ton of meat, I got a ton of beans, I got a ton of rice, I got my salsa, but you ask for sour cream and you can't find it. And then the last couple bites, you taste some sour cream and you say, okay, I can't complain to them.
I guess they had it in there.
I guess they did give me sour cream. That's what it seems like now with Harrison Barnes. So not to be negative, but there's no other way to look at this and think, okay, if there is an issue or if there is something missing, this is it.
No, for sure. And again, I'm not gonna come up with specific trades or anything, but it's just a simple. It doesn't really even have to do it. He's more the obvious selection because of how well the other players are producing. But I mean, you just look at it at the guys who you could view as a little bit more expendable, and he's just a name that really sticks out. And I think after last night's DNP-CD, you could say the same about Davion as well. I don't think it's necessarily talking bad about them. It doesn't really have to do with them as much as it is, again, more so for this team. Somebody's got to go if you want to bring in a piece. And those are just the pieces that I think have the most value, but also don't take away from the things that you're currently really good at.
Yeah, and a little bit later in the show, we'll talk about the road back for Davion. We have some quotes from Coach Mike Brown about Davion and how he can get back into the mix. Here's a quote from our own, not from Brendan Nunez, but this is from his Twitter because he was with Coach Brown in the pregame press conference on Harrison Barnes. And a quote right here, he allows us a lot of versatility, especially defensively. We need it because we're a young team. We're not that big. I like what I've seen so far. It's early in the season. I think last year he struggled at the beginning of the season too. Close quote. That is Coach Mike Brown on Harrison Barnes. So that's how he feels right now. I think
he's a veteran. Okay.
He's a veteran.
Yeah. Okay.
And at some point.
That's not good enough, I don't think.
Well, I was going to say, the thing is, as this team continues to mature, how much do you need a veteran?
Exactly.
Right? To me, I mean, and we saw, look, like I said, I was in the Bay. Yes, it's not aging that great, but I had a Poole party shirt, right? And Jordan Poole, it's a mess in Washington. I don't know if you saw that clip going around in the timeout where he's throwing his towel, he's dropping F-bombs. It's just not great. And that is a guy who needs maturity, right? This Kings team is not immature. They don't need, to me, a veteran to say, hey, stop doing that. Doesn't seem, they have fun in the locker room, but if you were to think of a not a class clown, but somebody like that, when you think of immature, I think of that's why Fred VanVleet, and I know Dylan Brooks might not be the most mature guy, but he is a veteran.
Yeah.
That is what I think. Hey, Jalen and the crew in Houston, y'all, this is not AAU anymore. Right. You're not hooping for whoever is in the stands, right? We need to be a real basketball team. That team needed veteran leadership. Okay. Yeah. The Kings, to me, they do not need veteran leadership.
Yeah.
Not if that veteran leadership is not coming with production.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is you can get veteran leadership for a vet minimum. Like you can get JaVale McGee can give you veteran leadership. You don't have to pay $17 million.
Get Rudy Gay. Get Rudy Gay to just kick it on the bench.
Exactly. And that's the thing is like, I mean, that's again, I hate to turn this into a negative Harrison Barnes conversation, but here we are. That's like kind of what frustrated me about the playoff series last year is that Harrison Barnes is brought to be the guy who says, it's okay, guys. I know everyone's nervous. I've been here. I've done that. Let me tell you or show you even better about, how you can handle yourself in this kind of situation. And frankly, I mean, I wouldn't say that he brought that to this team. I think Harrison still kind of views himself, even though he is the elder statesman of this team. I don't think he really views himself yet as that, oh, let me teach you young fellas about the game here. I think he still views himself, and I think rightfully so. He's 30 or 31 years old. He still views himself as in his prime as well.
Yeah, and it might be a lot of off-the-court stuff. Like Harrison's going to tell you, hey, invest in this and don't spend your money on shoes.
Wear a suit to the game.
Right. Don't buy a bunch of cars. That's how he's going to help you. We got to get to a break. Chris Beerman coming up, Candlestick Chronicles here at 11. But we are going to talk some Sacramento Kings with him as well. And the thing is this, you don't need production from Harrison Barnes. Nobody wants to talk about it today. If your other four starters are shooting over 20 points, but how often is that going to happen? Got to get to a break. When we get back, Chris Beerman, Candlestick Chronicles at 11. Beaming or dreaming, 11:15. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay, because at Sac Sewer, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe, and it's our job to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. Whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night at 916-875-6730. Sac Sewer. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all states and situations.
Hey, small business owner. Are you ready to have the best year ever in 2024? When's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs, but Pi Insurance could save you up to 30% in just minutes. Go to trypi.com. Share a few details about your business and get a quote that's customized for your business. No hassles or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could make this your best year ever. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles, drugstore insoles, custom insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. And the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure that I got something that my feet felt good in, not somebody else's feet. I love the fact that I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. I have boots, I have cowboy boots, I have running shoes, I have walking shoes, I have flat shoes, I have heels. It makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Knee, hip, foot, leg, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install the new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube.
Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. celebrating a Kings victory, and we're still celebrating a Niners victory on this beautiful Tuesday, the 14th, and it's the 14th show, joined by our guy of the Candlestick Chronicles, Chris Beerman. Chris, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm fantastic. How are you guys? It's been a while. Long time no see.
I know. Good to see you and good to have you on the show. Before we go with the Candlestick Chronicles and the Niners who just smacked the Jacksonville Jaguars, you were in the building. We had a nice dinner together. What were your takeaways from the Kings and their win over the Cavs?
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to shoot 65% and make 55% of their threes, they're going to be a pretty tough team to beat. But, I think that ultimately getting De'Aaron Fox back is he's the straw that stirs the drink, I should say, right? Like the offense is just at a completely different level. It looked like, as good as the offense was last year, it looked like it hit a different level last night. And so it makes you question how good can this offense get? Does it still have room to improve? And I would think, based on last night against a pretty good defensive team in Cleveland, that answer could be yes. Now, does that mean that they're going to go to the Western Conference Finals and win multiple playoff series? That's to be determined. The West is a lot better this year than last year. And so, the Kings are going to still have to improve defensively, but you have to like what you saw from them, given it was De'Aaron Fox's first game back.
Yeah, and talking about the Kings defense and them getting better on that side of the floor, I mean, to me, the big standout last night was Keegan Murray and his defensive effort on Davon Mitchell, and the fact that he was still able to be a massive threat shooting the ball still, which we saw him struggle against the Warriors with earlier in this season. Just, I mean, if Keegan's gonna add defense and a little bit of a two-way element to his game, just in general, how do you feel like Keegan kind of unlocks the potential of this team and just how the floor and the ceiling of this team is kind of tied into Keegan's development?
Yeah, it feels like Mike Brown is making a really concerted effort to match Keegan up against the opponent's best perimeter player, right? And so I wonder if that's just like Mike Brown, even more than just like focusing on Keegan's defense, just being like, hey, take this challenge personally, right? Like you're going to go up. We need you to play at an all-star level for the Kings to take that next step and become a real Western Conference contender, right? So I think Mike Brown is just sort of challenging Keegan to not only play better defense, but say, hey, you're going to go up against our best guy. You're going to guard Steph Curry. You're going to guard Donovan Mitchell. And we trust you to be in that spot and do it at a reasonable level. And the Kings really need it because, frankly, like they don't have a whole lot of perimeter defense with size, right? Like I think one of their biggest issues defensively is being able to prevent dribble penetration. And a lot of that is just their starting guards aren't known for their defense. Kevin Huerter is not a defensive guy. Harrison Barnes is a little long in the tooth at this point in his career. And you obviously don't have a whole lot of rim protection with Domantas Sabonis. So it's going to be up to their perimeter defense to really improve and take a step. And when you look at the guys in the regular rotation, Keegan Murray is that guy that can take that next step and elevate their perimeter defense a little bit. So given his size and all of that, it's super important that he develops defensively. And even, like I said, bigger than that is, can Keegan Murray take the challenge night to night going up against the opponent's best perimeter player? Because they need him to reach that all-star level. So I think it's a fun challenge for Keegan, and it's smart by Mike Brown to challenge him in that way and try to push him to elevate his game that way.
Talking to Chris Beerman of the Candlestick Chronicles. Now time to switch over to that team in the Bay, the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, Chris, is there any way you can script a better palate cleanser for the 49ers than what they did to the Jags after the bye week, adding Chase Young, getting healthy, a great game for Brock Purdy? This is exactly what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, with the exception of maybe Christian McCaffrey getting in the end zone, right?
Right.
They tried.
Yeah.
They really tried. I think that was the only thing. Look, like they haven't been great in the red zone, I guess, overall the last few weeks. But obviously, when you're scoring long touchdowns, that's not going to be too much of an issue against a team like Jacksonville. But like, it went about as well as it could have, right? Like it looked like, after through 5 weeks of the season, I was talking about the Niners being the best team in the league. I was comparing them to the 1994 team based on how they were playing and how much talent they had, right? And that 1994 team, arguably the best, if not one of the best teams in franchise history, right? Like that's the level that I think this team could get to given the talent that's on the roster. And then of course they have a 3-game losing streak, making me and anybody else with that opinion look pretty stupid. So it was good to, for the 49ers to get their swagger back. I think there's an intangible element having Deebo Samuel and Trent Williams on the field. Like the production speaks for itself with those guys, but obviously like their demeanor, their attitude, their toughness, their swagger, I think has a huge impact on the way they're able to play offensively. And then you even see defenses adjust every time Deebo Samuel goes in motion, right? Like you can tell the defense is sort of freaking out, trying to figure out how to defend him. And then you also have to factor in Christian McCaffrey and Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. So that was about as well as it could have gone for the 49ers, I would say, with the exception of getting Christian McCaffrey the touchdown. And then defensively, you add Chase Young to an already super talented pass rush, and you have a secondary that's playing at a higher level and forcing Trevor Lawrence to hold on to the ball a little bit longer rather than just, getting to the top of his drop and getting the ball out quickly. It was, he was a little confused. They were mixing up the looks they were showing him, and it allowed the pass rush more time to get to him, and 5 sacks. That's exactly what the formula is for the 49ers. It's, you have to have a good secondary to complement a good pass rush. You can't just allow a quarterback to get rid of the ball quickly, which what happened for most of the last 3 games, right before the Jacksonville game. So that was our biggest issue defensively. In addition to stopping the run, they did a really good job of that. So all in all, I would say it's about as good as it could have been expected on Sunday for sure.
Yeah, and talking about ranking these Niner teams and how important their defense is, the thing that's really the when you have Kyle Shanahan as your offensive coordinator or head coach, whatever you want to call him, the offense is going to take care of itself. The thing that has really kept the Niners, in the NFC Championship games and in these Super Bowl contentions has been their defense and how elite their defense has been. The past couple of years, their scoring defense has been near the tops of the NFL. I think last year they were actually number 1, and they're sitting tied with the Chiefs right now for fewest points allowed. How would you rank, just from a talent perspective, the talent that the Niners have on this defensive unit and just how it ranks in these past couple years, I guess maybe in a post-Willis era or even before that?
Yeah, coming into the season, we had talked on the podcast a little bit about comparing like this defensive line to the 2019 defensive line, right?
Mhm.
And that 2019 defensive line was basically 50% different with DeForest Buckner there and Dee Ford there. Dee Ford dealt with hamstring injuries. I think he played about 20% of the snaps that season, but he was still super effective when he was on the field. It felt like anytime there was 3rd and long, the Niners were going to either heat up the quarterback or get a sack or force a turnover in those spots. So coming into the year, before they added Chase Young, there was an interesting conversation to be had about comparing this defensive line with Javon Hargrave and a better version of Nick Bosa to that 2019 unit. And then you add Chase Young, a former number 2 overall pick, who's just, super talented. And yeah, there were a lot of people, I think as it's borne out, this hasn't been the correct take, but even going into his draft, there were some people who thought Chase Young was a better prospect than Nick Bosa. It hasn't borne out that way, but just given the overall talent of this defensive line, I think you can make a pretty strong case that this group is better than the 2019 defensive line. And that was the best defensive line in the league, and it wasn't particularly close. Now, I would say the Niners don't have Richard Sherman, right? Richard Sherman was an all-pro that year, and it wasn't so much about his physical skills. It was just about how intelligent he was and how he could basically call out the play to his teammates based on, where offensive players were lining up and down and distance tendencies and all that. Like Richard Sherman was in essence a coach in the field in a similar way that Fred Warner is. But now, Charvarius Ward, maybe a more physically talented player at this point in his career than Richard Sherman was then, but I don't know that you could replace Richard Sherman's intelligence. I do think Jimmy Ward is still a pretty sizable upgrade over what they have at safety with Deshaun Gibson and certainly the nickel position. Although you have to feel pretty good about what you saw from Diamador Lenore moving into the slot and Ambry Thomas obviously moving outside. But it's a long-winded way of me saying that I think this defensive line is better than 2019. I think the secondary in 2019 was probably a little bit better than this one. So it is a little bit different, but I think overall, like the ceiling of this version of the 49ers defense is a little bit better because you do feel better probably about Chase Young than you did about Dee Ford. And you have Nick Bosa now playing at a higher level than he did when he was a rookie. Added with Javon Hargrave, who completely dominated that game on Sunday. And Eric Armstead, who's, he's not going to put up huge sack numbers, but he is a very steady player and also really good against the run. So comparing them, I think they're very comparable, but I think the ceiling, given the pass rush that this team could have, is better than 2019 because of the addition of Chase Young.
Chris Beerman, thank you so much. Candlestick Chronicles. We will talk to you again next week, hopefully celebrating another Niners W, because they're going up against the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield, and we know that Nick Bosa and Chase Young, they're going to have something ready for him.
Yeah, they're not huge Baker Mayfield guys after
Yes.
what happened in college, if you remember.
Exactly, to put it kindly. Thank you, Chris. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will talk to you soon.
No problem. You guys have a good one. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Chris Beerman, Candlestick Chronicles. Make sure you go check out that pod. They do a lot of good work. And Chris can talk Kings, too. That was great to start off the segment. Got to get to a break. When we get back, it's time. Get them in. Beaming or dreaming. We need to know. 916-339-1140 or on the YouTube chat, text line, call line. Beaming or dreaming, where are you at? I don't know where Nate is. I don't know where Chris is, but I know where I am. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
As we come together to celebrate the end of this long, long year, Stockton Honda has savings to bring us all cheer. Happy Honda Day savings and selection galore. Stockton Honda's online express purchase and great people give you more.
Save on 400 new Hondas at Stockton Honda during Happy Honda Days. Shop in person or online with our express purchase option.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
This holiday season, create a fun and joyful memory for you and your loved ones. Come light the world and help those in need through the Giving Machine in the Roseville Galleria Mall, November 16th through December 10th, and in Modesto at Valley Fair Mall, December 11th through January 2nd. Choose from local charities serving your community or from global charities worldwide. Come feel the Christmas spirit at the Giving Machine. Learn more at givingmachine.greatersacramentomodesto.org.
Joe, we're all well-rounded people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When you grow up your family, I know my mom is really big. You got to be well-rounded.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
We can talk about everything on this show. And Chris Beerman, great job. We will talk to him again next week and hopefully celebrate another Niners W. Who, by the way, we have TVs on in the studio and First Take was running, and Stephen A does Stephen's A list. And Chris pointed out that he did not have the Niners for his top 5 NFL teams right now. He had, I just saw it quickly. I know I saw the Eagles.
Eagles were number 1.
I know I saw the Lions at 5.
I think it was Eagles, Chiefs, Dolphins. Lions were at 5. Who are we missing? Ravens. Ravens at 4.
Right. So no Niners, but hey, I think the Niners might prefer it that way, get a little chip on their shoulder.
You don't want to be recognized by Stephen A anyway.
You might, maybe not. Maybe
like
not. Right.
Yeah.
It might be the kiss of death. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with the Niners this week, and we'll continue to talk Niners. We got some more Niners guests coming up for you as the week moves forward. But back to Kings talk, and yes, it's that time. And we're working on a a sounder for this, right? We're working on people, working on some things for beaming or dreaming. Okay, we're gonna put some producers in the booth. I'm talking about who are the big producers. Maybe I'll get DJ Khaled, Metro Boomin, want some more. Take Key. I can't say the last. I can't say the last part of that, on these airways. So we're working on it, but for now, you just got Chris and myself beaming or dreaming. So let's start reading them. I see right here from Amid Rock, beaming times 400. Hey. That's what you like to hear from the 916, our segment prior to Chris Beerman. Harrison Barnes, wear a suit. I'm laughing at that. That's exactly what his veteran leadership is. But 916, I'm sure you are beaming as well. Let's see the other ones beaming or dreaming. See on the text line, another 530. I'm beaming, and you know why. Kevin Huerter has returned. Ooh. So let's go inside to the glass. Let's go to Nate first because it's been a while. Yeah. We've been, we haven't been able to talk beaming or dreaming. I think we did good because we played the Warriors so much. It was hard. We couldn't keep doing it. Then you played the Lakers. So we had a nice break from beaming or dreaming, and we've learned so much.
Nate, is this your first time playing?
This is my first time,
I think every time we've had Kyle, because Kyle thinks it's funny to play
the nursery.
The nursery sound. So.
Oh, yeah. Kyle thinks a lot of things are funny.
That's right.
He's a stand-up comedian,
Dude, whatever.
Nate, beaming or dreaming?
I'm beaming. How could you not be beaming right now?
That's what I'm saying.
Beaming's good, obviously, right?
Be a hater.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not a hater.
There you go. James X on the YouTube chat, beaming, but not Duarte. He'll come around.
Oh, my gosh.
My goodness. I know we talked about Harrison Barnes, but that was a really rough game for Chris Duarte.
Oof,
That was incredibly rough.
A rough stretch.
3 fouls in 3 minutes.
It was something crazy. He picked up 2 fouls in 46 seconds.
Yes.
I noted that. And then, by the time the 8-minute mark hit, I think he had 4 fouls.
Did he come back
in?
And
a traveling call.
Let's see here. Chris Duarte played 9 minutes. He checked in the fourth quarter. He played about 4 of those minutes.
Oh, so the garbage time
they
at the
were
end,
all
probably?
He played all his minutes in the second quarter.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's rough. That was a rough go. And at one point, I don't know if you saw him, Chris and I kind of noted it. He threw his hands in the air after one of the fouls. Just really tough for him.
He's too handsy, man. He's just trying to, I shout out the Kings who were playing incredibly physical defense. We talked about yesterday, your favorite coach, whoever it was, saying, you start the game playing physical. So that way, you set the tone early and you can kind of ramp it down from there. Duarte he's just way too physical at all points. Like he's just too much chest, too much hands. He's playing too tight on guys, so they're getting around him, and he's trying to compensate by grabbing them and pulling them, and it's looked really bad defensively, and I think that's definitely affected his offense as well. He's supposed to be a guy who can do both. His defense was supposed to be the cherry on top. First and foremost, dude's supposed to be a shooter. We haven't even seen that from him.
No, I think I just specifically remember a corner 3 that did not go down for him. From the 650, I'm beaming with Kevin Huerter back and Keegan Murray taking the jump.
Come on.
This team is getting past the second round. Woo! Book it. Thank you to the 650. Chris, let's go to you now.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be beaming, especially because, the spirit of this segment is, will the Kings, like that texter said, will they be better than last season? I think that last night, after seeing last night and the trajectory that this team is now on, what is that, 3 straight wins for these guys? Mm-hmm. You got to feel like they're headed towards the right direction. De'Aaron Fox comes back. These guys have the most ridiculous shooting night they've had all season long. One of the best shooting nights of the Mike Brown era in general. You got to feel like this team's working in the right direction. And you said it perfectly earlier. This is like the Niners' first 5 weeks, where this is the example of, okay, how can the Kings have playoff success looking like the team that they looked like last night?
Yeah.
I'm beaming.
So you got to be beaming. From Jess Escoto, I don't know when I would ever say dreaming. I'm beaming till I die. Of course you are, Jess. That's what we like to hear from Pike 916. Beam me up, Scotty.
Yes, sir.
That's what we like to hear as well. But wait, here on the 916, I'm dreaming. I don't believe that they can continue to shoot at this rate, but I hope I'm wrong. From the 916. Sure. Hey,
that's fair.
They did it last year, right? I mean, they had.
So I was just about to look. What they shot 59%. They only shot 59% twice last year. One of them was the Brooklyn game, which was the infamous TNT game. They shot 60% towards the end of the year in Portland. I believe that was the game after they had clinched the playoff
That was
spot.
Dave's crying game.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Or the day. It was either that one or the day after. The Kings shot 61% in that game. So yeah, last night was incredibly rare. I'm trying to see if there's a time they shot 47% from three. So yeah, I mean those they had they actually had 9 games last year where they shot above 47% from three. So it's not like it's a complete anomaly. This team definitely had nights last year where they shot like they did last night.
From the 5-3-0, I'm still dreaming until I see Keegan repeat that shooting explosion. There is I mean for sure. I can't knock that because I just asked Beerman. I said, that's baked into the Kings ceiling is how well Keegan's going to look. And if he's going to look like he did last night, then the ceiling is beaming. It's through the roof. The Kings can definitely be a better team if Keegan Murray's a better player this year, but if Keegan's not going to be as effective, not as lethal, yeah, I mean, that's a big problem for the Kings' plans this year for sure. From Gilbert Hernandez, this segment is crazy. Where was all this same energy a week ago? Now the offense is okay because shots fell. Need to use this as a learning experience to relax.
No, literally, yes.
But to be fair to Gilbert, here's the thing. The open shot percentage for the Kings is wildly better than the other teams. So they're going to continue to get open shots. So do we think they're going to shoot like this? As Chris just said, they only shot this high of a percentage twice last season. No, but that doesn't mean that they have to in order to win basketball games because they weren't defending like this last season. No. So it is about shots falling because it's a make or miss league. And I hate to simplify it that much, but it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, last week, as just said, I don't know when I would be dreaming. If you weren't dreaming last week,
come on,
when you were down bad to the Houston Rockets,
down
then
tremendous.
that is what you call a real deal fan.
Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying, Gilbert, but at the same time, it is about shots falling because these weren't wild shots like the Keegan Murray shot over his brother, leaning out of bounds in the corner. These are legitimate open shots that they just been missing that we knew that they could hit. Are they going to continue to hit at this clip? I have no clue, but we knew that they were going to shoot better. Here on the 916, before we get to a break, definitely a beamer. That is from the 916. Got to get to a break. Oh, Chris, you got something for me?
Real quick, just on the open shots, just so we can get an update on that number. The Indiana Pacers are still taking the most open looks from three of any team in the NBA. They're at 26.7. They're knocking down 40% of their open looks, which is probably what you should do on wide open looks. The Kings, second place in the NBA, 23 wide open three attempts per game. They're shooting 34%, 6% less than the first place team. Like if you can make up just
and that includes last night.
That should include last night. This is from NBA.com. They usually update the stats the night after, or the day after, I should say. So these should be updated numbers. The Kings are shooting 34.1% on wide open looks. That is third worst in the NBA, regardless of how many attempts. So the Kings are shooting tremendously bad on just the open looks. And that's what we're talking about. That's what makes last night, if you want to say that's not repeatable, my pushback would be last night they got so many open looks and they just haven't been knocking those down all year long. And that's an abnormality. That's what we've been talking about all season long. When it's just as simple as they're not making shots, it's not like, that's some dumb analysis. It's quite literally like they're missing a ton of free throws, which they also are. It's like missing it's the open shots.
And I will say this as we really do.
Yes, we actually have
916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. The last thing I'll say is this. It's not like, and no offense to these guys as non-shooters, it's not like Keon put up 3 threes and Davion put up 4.
Exactly.
These are your shooters.
Those are your shooters.
And they just haven't been making shots. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, more of a love fest for Mike Brown. We have audio about the DPOG crown and much more. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead.
Get your Kings fix all season long right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings. Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Gold Country Casino Resort in Oroville is thrilled to present American Idol winner Chase Beckham, Saturday, November 18th.
Now I'm 23.
Don't miss out on your chance to see this talented country artist live.
If you don't take in the backwards,
Get your tickets now to see Chase Beckham at goldcountrycasino.com, November 18th at 8 p.m.
Gold Country Casino Resort.
Must be 21 or older.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
It's the first ever Elk Grove Kia Frozen Turkey Bowling Extravaganza on November 18th, 2023 from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. That's right, a frozen turkey becomes the bowling ball, and 10 liquid-filled plastic beverage bottles are your pins. It's not just bowling, it's an adventure. Knock down those pins. Each pin has a number attached to it, which means your skills can lead you to awesome prizes. And guess what? Each person gets 2 rolls, so you can aim for perfection. Now, how can you be part of this amazing event? Simple. Register at Elk Grove Kia for one of the 8 coveted spots through a raffle. But hurry, the registration deadline is November 17th, 2023 at 6 p.m. sharp. And here's the best part. No purchase is necessary. That's right, it's all about the fun and games. So make your way to Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall today for a chance to win a spot at the inaugural Elk Grove Kia Turkey Bowl. Rules and regulations at elkgrovekia.com.
Elk Grove Kia.
Guys, your promise is your word, right? You stick by it, you live by it. So does Revive Men's Health with our Revive Promise for low T and ED. The Revive Promise means your tests and lab work are free when you begin treatment, and our low T and ED treatments are money back guaranteed. Yes, that's right. We stand behind our treatments and our results. That's our promise to you. Revive Men's Health has successfully helped thousands of men with low T, ED, and sexual health issues since 2011. If you're experiencing symptoms like chronic low energy, less drive, sleep issues, weight gain, poor performance, bad moods, or ED, you need Revive. Don't settle. Get affordable, guaranteed, custom low T and ED solutions with lasting results from Sacramento's favorite men's clinic. And remember, there are no extra bills when you begin treatment. All labs and tests are free, and your low T and ED treatments are money back guaranteed. Call Revive Men's Health Sacramento today to schedule your appointment. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind. And that's okay, because at Sac Sewer, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And it's our job to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. Whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night, at 916-875-6730. Sac Sewer. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m., talking all things Kings, sprinkling in some Niners as well, some NFL, all that jazz as the Kings take care of the Cavs in very decisive fashion. I think everybody felt really good about that. We were talking beaming or dreaming. Most people were beaming. A couple dreamings, a decent amount of dreamings. And I get it. That was an offensive explosion. Sure. And we're still trying to figure out, okay, maybe the Kings don't do that every single game. But we knew that they weren't going to shoot 1 for 7 and 0 for 7 if you're Keegan or Kevin Huerter. And we were talking with our guy on the YouTube chat. Gilbert Hernandez was talking about some of the, as I continue to read what he was saying, talking about the conversations as far as fire Mike Brown. And yeah, we saw it on YouTube, Brown out of town. But that wasn't us. No, that was not us. And yes, the Houston Rockets, as we mentioned, that doesn't look as bad anymore. They are 6-3. I don't know if they played yesterday, but they're 6-3. They beat some good teams. Ime Udoka has them rolling. So it was all different a week ago. But when the facts change, opinions change. That's just how it goes. And I don't think most people lost the faith. Right. I think a lot of the dreamings that we heard last week was just a fact of, hey, what if what if last year wasn't real?
Yeah.
Right. And I posed a bit of that question as well. And last night told us, no, we can still get there.
Yeah.
We can still get there. At what clip will we remain there? We don't know yet, but we will still get there. And we do have the ability to reach our ceiling. And how do they respond to my question to that? Because we are the flagship. So I'm sure the Kings listen to this. Shout out to all the Kings players listening right now. How do they respond to that? With their best win of the year? You have right here on our beautiful rundown that Chris has been rocking the rundown lately. Let me tell you, folks, he has been contributing at an
I wasn't before,
outstanding.
but now.
No, he always was. He always was. But he's just taking it up a notch here. And the question is, how did the Kings follow up their best win of the season, which is what we said about the Oklahoma City Thunder? And the answer, with their best win of the season, as we bring it back to Mike Brown and the appreciation for him getting his 400th win. You just can't say enough about the guy.
Can't. I mean, the dude, we talked about it earlier, but he's just such the perfect fit for what this team is and who they want to be. He's met them at where they were, I think, when they first initially got here. He's really brought them along, and he's gotten them to believe in it as well. I think a big part in the Kings' past has been, frankly, it's a little bit like a high school where there's cliques and you can feel the cliques on the floor sometimes. Sometimes the off the floor relationships end up seeping to on the floor. And Mike Brown has just done a great job of doing what every coach says they're going to do and get everybody pulling on the same string and getting everybody working towards the same goal. And it really feels like, especially last year, he just had complete buy-in from his guys. I know he has them all sign the all-in contract at the start of the year, and, it keeps them accountable, but truly, like, it really feels like these guys are a true unit. Like, I talk a lot about, especially in the NBA, there's so many egos and guys who, if you have LeBron James on your team, he's going to elevate above everyone. You have Steph Curry on your team. Yeah, he's your teammate, but we played a clip of GP2 talking to Jonathan Kuminga. They call him 30. They like, it's almost like he is a god to them.
Right.
This Kings team really does feel like one of the few basketball teams in the NBA where there's not some massive personality that outshines everybody. These guys truly just love to hoop, and I think that plays itself out with Mike Brown being the perfect leader of that group, is just a guy who demands greatness, and again is just really fair about how he goes about it as well.
Yeah, and we have sound here from Mike Brown's response to receiving the DPOG crown, or as Jess said on the YouTube chat, the DCOG crown, which makes a lot of sense with the defensive player of the game now being the defensive coach of the game. And really just an ode to his career, winning his 400th career win.
Yeah,
Mike, first off, congrats on 400.
Thank you.
I heard that you got the crown this evening.
It should have gone to Keegan.
Should have gone to Keegan.
But nobody in the locker room listens to me.
There you go. And here he is again,
so
talking about being the 54th coach all time in terms of wins.
I don't know if I have that one for you, Alan.
There you go. All right. All good. Well, yeah.
I have the post game, though, if you want to
play that.
Yeah.
3 deflections, 8 defensive rebounds. Davon Mitchell 7 for 21, 33%. But the defensive player of the game with 400 wins.
So there you go.
Just the best.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted anyway. Thank you, Nate. Thank
Just
you,
so
Nate.
good.
That's great
You
stuff.
got to watch the video. If you haven't yet, you have to watch the video. Mike Brown got the crown on, and he's so funny. He throws up the 4 that they all throw up after every game, and it's just a great video. Got to check it out.
Yeah,
It's hilarious.
and I think the biggest thing for Mike Brown, and we talked about it a little bit earlier in the show, is about evolving. And there are a lot of coaches, as we talk NFL and other things, where you see these guys and they get held to a certain standard if you've won a championship before, and they just don't have the ability to evolve, right? Like Mike McCarthy, to me, you got your one Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, and you've been the same guy ever since, right? And to me, the game has changed. Things change, right? It doesn't take much. If you have a younger cousin or a younger sibling, things can change very quickly. And another guy like that to me that just hasn't been able to evolve or change has been Sean Payton. I mean, Sean Payton is out of the game. He's doing his coaching. I know they won last night, but he's doing his coaching. You know, he's an analyst, and then he comes back and he's throwing everybody. He's throwing Hackett under the bus, and now he throws Russ under the bus. So everybody under the bus, right? And I just don't think I understand why you see greatness and you think that you can reharness that greatness, but you got to be careful because the game changes so much, and you have to find somebody that has the ability to evolve because people get older. Right. And it's something that not many of us talk about or like to talk about, age and things like that. But the fact of the matter is, if you have been out the game and the older you get, the further removed you can become from your team. Right. Right. When Mike Brown was a completely different age. How long ago was that when he was coaching LeBron? Yeah. They were a lot closer in age than what he's dealing with now. And I know LeBron came in out of high school, but even still, I mean, that was decades ago. And now you're still handling the Keegan Murrays of the world, the Kobe Joneses of the world that are fresh out of college. In 2000s. Right. Yeah. And you're trying to find something. I mean, we heard conversations with players who can't connect because they've been playing. Right.
Matt Stafford, shout out. Matt Stafford.
For 10, 11 years. And they think, I don't have anything to say. You know, there's no way for me to kind of connect with my own teammates, right, let alone a coach. So for Mike Brown to be able to find a level playing field for these guys and to be able to speak to them about things that, you know, I know basketball is the common denominator here, but there becomes a lot more, right? Talking about family, talking about things that you like. And it feels like Mike Brown is one of those guys. And I'll be honest with you. I know he is another great. I have no clue. I think some guys are just so great, maybe you power through it, but I don't know how good Popovich is at that. I don't know. I know he's a great coach, and I know, you know, I think maybe the way he coaches differently, but some of these guys, when you see this coaching carousel and these same guys just get recycled over and over again, and they still don't have success. Hi, talking to you, Josh McDaniels. It's only because, look, you know, like things have continued to change and these guys have remained the same and it didn't really work back then. So it definitely isn't going to work now. And even if it did, I'd say the same thing about Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick, is it Bill Belichick, Greg Popovich, those types of guys who obviously are champions. How does it still translate? I don't know, right? Because when I see a Mike Brown and I see a D'Amico Ryans and I see a Robert Saleh and these guys, there's clearly a new wave coming in terms of coaching. So you either get with it or get lost.
Yeah, for sure. And just to kind of wrap a bow on everything you said there. I mean, Kings fans understand exactly what you're talking about when you say, you know, you can be removed from the game and then come back and everything's completely different. We went through that with George Karl, where George Karl had left the game for a couple of years. He had cancer and then came back, was able to come back. And he just had no idea how to handle a personality like DeMarcus Cousins. He also had Rondo on that team. And you could tell that just the old-fashioned, I'm going to scream at you guys until you guys listen and it goes through your head, just doesn't work anymore. And I think Mike Brown has talked about that in the past. You know, the guy that he was in Cleveland was a very, you know, stringent disciplinarian who was coming off of those Spurs years of, you know, being with Greg Popovich. And then he went over to Coach Kobe. That obviously Kobe demands so much of not only his teammates, but also his coaches as well. That environment was incredibly tense and stressful. And then he goes to Golden State. And he's coming from those past environments. He also goes back to Cleveland for a failed stint as well. But then he goes to Golden State, where everything is just vibes. It's all vibes are immaculate. Steve Kerr, I don't want to say he barely coaches his guys, but when it comes to what happens,
he let Andre Iguodala coach a game.
100%. Yeah, like he's just like the players will figure it out, and that'll be best for the team. Partially because Steve Kerr came up in so many great basketball situations as well. But Mike talks about all the time how much he learned in that Warrior stint of just, you know, you don't have to be such a hard ass, essentially, is what he learned. You don't have to be a disciplinarian. Sometimes being a player's coach, I think coaches view being a player's coach as a negative because it's like, I don't want to be known as only having this job because I'm good buddies with the players.
I'm the cool guy.
Nobody wants to have that as their label. And Mike Brown understood, I don't care. I really I think we would consider Mike Brown a player's coach, but at the same time, like we talked about earlier, he still has that level of respect and he still is a disciplinarian. He picks and chooses the moments in which he decides to, you know, hit you, like not literally, but he treats Keegan Murray like a like he's his dog or something. The way that he yells and demands from Keegan, it's got to be tough to go through that. But also, I'm sure Keegan understands at the same time, this dude's only yelling at me like that because he loves me. And he understands. I'm sure Mike Brown is very quick to put his arm around Keegan's shoulder, probably more than anybody else, and understand that I'm only so hard on you because I believe in you so much. And I think that bonding in the understanding of having both sides, of being the disciplinarian, being a guy who has respect, but also getting the players to like you on a human level, I think that Mike Brown's entire journey brought him to become this final evolution of a coach. And of course, he's not done evolving, hopefully. Everything that you stated, completely true. It almost just starts now with the guy that he is here. But I have full faith that he's just going to continue to evolve and evolve and evolve. And what comes of it, I think, will be ultimately success for this team.
Yeah, well said. And again, I know I threw out Greg Popovich, but he had Steve Kerr, so maybe it's all connected. Greg Popovich just does it a different way. So I'll remove Greg Popovich, and somebody can help me out with another name here. Another name real quick, Andy Reid is a guy who I feel like has evolved.
100%. Great call.
And now found more success. Got to get to a break. When we get back, there is a name. I know we said no trade generator, but some news just dropped. Some news just dropped, and the word on the street is that the Lakers are already making calls. Will the Kings? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL?
Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khdk.com.
Thunder, feel the thunder. It ignites something inside of you. Lightning and the thunder. Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
I'm Ebony Loren, and Febrez's new scent, Soothe and Restore, is so good I wrote a song about it.
I know just what I do. Febreze has my favorite scent. Makes the perfect environment. Sweet like sugar, smooth shea butter. What could be better than being with each other now? Breathe, I breathe, breathe. La, 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 la.
For 35 years, Trucksmart has been your local leader in truck accessories. Find racks, toolboxes, and lighting for your work truck, and trailer hitches, side steps, and bed covers for recreation. They have shells for work or play, and offer Rhino lining, the best bed protection in the business. You like overlanding? Trucksmart has rooftop tents, recovery gear, and heavy-duty bumpers. Trust your ride to their skilled installers and expert sales staff at the Rockland and Auburn locations. Trucksmart. Your truck's gonna love them. Trucksmart.com.
Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, small business owner. Are you ready to have the best year ever in 2024? When's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But Pi Insurance could save you up to 30% in just 3 minutes. Go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for your business. No hassles or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could make this your best year ever. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's trypie.com. CapTrust.com.
Winter is coming. I know you know that, but are you prepared to keep your family warm all season long? At American Energy Heating and Air, their goal is to exceed your expectations of the heating and air industry by valuing the customer experience and making your home comfort system as efficient as possible for the most value. So book your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. Prevent dangerous gas leaks. Extend the life of that furnace and save on your energy bills. And here's the guarantee. This isn't a sales call. They're not getting in the door so they can try to sell you a bunch of stuff. No, they're just going to do what they say they're going to do. Call today to schedule an appointment at 916-520-9990 or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A-plus Better Business Bureau rating. Get your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. 916-520-9990. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia for all your favorite models at low prices and payments, plus low finance rates and zero down deals with approved credit. Go see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia right here in Sacramento for over 20.
On YouTube, search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. A Mike Brown Appreciation Day here on Sactown Sports. And why not? He deserves it. 400th win as an NBA head coach. He is 54th all-time. And you said 14th on the Kings list?
Yes, he is, as you said, 54th all-time, just behind Michael Malone, who has 414 career wins, and just a little bit ahead of Quinn Snyder, who has 387. And, yeah, on the all-time Kings head coaching list, Mike Brown already sits at number 14, 3 games behind everybody's favorite head coach, Jerry Reynolds, at 56 wins. Luke Walton finished his Kings coaching career. Shout out Luke. He was in the building yesterday. Not really shout out Luke. Luke Walton finished with 68 career wins as a Sacramento Kings head coach. So Mike Brown should probably, I'm kind of trying to add some wins here. You know, if the Kings win 50 games this year, Mike Brown can climb all the way up to number 11.
Wow.
Ed Jucker, who was the Kings head coach from 1968 to 1969, had 80 career wins.
Wow.
Mike Brown already is number 4 right now in the all-time win percentage at 582, just behind Jack McMahon at 583. So
go ahead, Nick.
Alan, are you familiar with Puke Walton, that situation? Because that was brought up last night when we were doing the Kings game.
Yeah.
So Luke Walton was fired the game after a fan threw up all over the court.
Mhm.
And there was about a 25-minute delay.
Mhm.
So that's kind of the taste in our mouth we have from Luke
pun
Walton here in
intended.
Sac.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, I hear you. No, I was just going to say, you know, to be fair, being 54th on the list when you think Mike Brown, I would say maybe a little underrated as a coach.
I would definitely
But
say so.
hearing him number 54 all time and where he is even just in Kings history, these guys get paid a lot of money and they get cashed out. We get that. I mean, Jimbo Fisher, even in college, getting paid about $70 million to sit at home. But it is tough to be a successful head coach.
I'm looking at it right now. Mike Brown is 23rd all-time in win percentage.
Wow.
As a head coach. I would have never guessed that. That's just incredible. There's only 3 active head coaches who have a better all-time win percentage. That's Steve Kerr, who's got a 66% win percentage. Greg Popovich, who has a 64% win percentage, which is just absurd because of how long he's been coaching. And Ime Udoka, in his short NBA coaching career, has a 62% win percentage. Mike Brown is sitting at 61%.
Where's Spoelstra? Is he not?
Spoelstra is at
some bad
34. He's at 58% of his wins.
I wanted to ask you guys this question about Mike Brown. So you were both in the arena last night. We're doing Mike Brown Appreciation Day. There were 2 plays specifically that came through on the broadcast. I'm listening to the game because I'm running the game here, but the first one was when Domantas Sabonis and Keegan Murray trapped Davon Mitchell in the corner, and he had to call a timeout. And Mike Brown went crazy for them. Did that translate to you guys? How nuts he was getting about that?
I saw him go nuts twice. I'm curious to hear
the second one.
Yeah, I didn't see how crazy he went the first time. I saw Keegan and Sabonis trap. I think it was Davon Mitchell in the corner. I saw them give a high five. I saw Mike Brown walk out to the free throw line, which he usually does at timeouts. And I think I saw a little a little fist, Tiger Woods fist pump, but nothing more than that.
I know which the second one you're going to say. It's the Malik Monk charge.
It's the Malik Monk.
That
one, he went crazy for that.
Yeah, and it actually got reversed, or overturned, but he still felt really good about it. He got asked about it in the post game, and everybody said it was a terrible overturn, but was just excited. And he said, even though it got overturned, he was still happy about it because it just shows growth, especially with Malik Monk, who's another guy that Mike Brown said could be elite defensively, right? You talk about that lateral quickness and that length. So I think Mike Brown was just happy about everything all around as we continue Mike Brown Appreciation Day and take your calls and your texts as well, and the YouTube chat as we get to this developing story from Shams Charania. By the way, it is crazy to me how if you're going to get NBA news, it's from 2 people. Like, when is the last time somebody else broke something big besides Woj or Shams?
Yeah, it's been a while. I like Chris Haynes gets sometimes he'll break, especially like Damian Lillard stuff. He'll break. Occasionally you'll get the Mark Stein, bomb or something like that, but definitely more times than not, those agents,
they got the game on lock, man. I mean, it is on lock, but anyway,
must be nice, man.
It must be.
Like, I know they're working hard, but I feel like so many things are just given to them
at this point.
Just like, they're not checking in all the time. Hey, what's the progress on Zack LaVine or anything? They're just, the agent is just feeding them this information.
Exactly. To me, it's very similar to bring it back to the dogs, for all the dogs. Drizzy.
Yeah.
Right. Drizzy, it doesn't really matter. I mean, he just messes around on albums now.
Yeah.
And they still break records because of everything he's done in the past and who he is now, right? Shams, he worked his butt off to get to this point, and so did Woj.
Yep.
And now
they're coasting.
The work just almost gets done for them. I know they're hustling, and I would love, I know they did something, but I would love to see some type of documentary
for sure.
On, like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're still fighting off the Chris Haynes of the world, and those guys are legitimately contenders, but it just doesn't seem like it.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it feels like a lot of their day is more so like building and retaining relationships more so than anything. But I would love to see like a documentary of just following those guys during the summer and seeing, like how do they get free agency news? How do they get trade news? And what does relationship building look like? Is it just them going to games and talking to scouts, or are they really, whining and dining these guys to try and get as much? Like, is there a level of sleaze behind getting?
Who knows,
this news?
man? Because what's crazy to me is, especially now with how Twitter has changed and everyone can pay for verification, so you don't know what's real or what's not. Let's say the Kings, we are the flagship. Let's say Mike Brown called us and said, "Hey guys, I want you to break this on the airwaves right now that we are trading XYZ for the person that Shams just brought up, and that is Zack LaVine." Now, the whole thing is that the Bulls have increased openness to explore trades with Zack LaVine, and they might just blow the whole thing up. For those of you who want to get the trade generator fired up, we know Chris has it fired up here as well. But I will say this, if Mike Brown called us and said it, or say Monty McNair called us and said it, we could say that on the air right now, but Shams would get it, and maybe he would say per Stiles and Watkins, but it doesn't have any credibility or validity until even the one with our guy, Sam Amick, who we love, it's all connected to Shams or Woj.
He gets everything. I have no idea how it works. If I had to guess, maybe we can talk to Sam about it next time we see him, but if I had to guess, it's one of those things where Sam probably, Sam Amick goes to all the games. He's at every Kings game just about. I would assume it's one of those where he kind of gets whispers, or maybe he gets the direct information, and he's like, okay, I could go out with this, but every great journalist, I believe, says you should always double check your sourcing. And so maybe it's one of those where, Sam gets the initial information, sends it over to Shams. He's like, Shams, are you also hearing this? Can you text your agent friends and just confirm it? And then it becomes a group effort and a group report instead of, Sam saying it and then, two different reports, if that makes sense. But
very interesting. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, I just said who it is, Zack LaVine. We will fire up the trade generator on a day where we weren't supposed to do this. But when a superstar, I don't know if he's a star, right?
Yeah,
two-time all-star. No, I wouldn't go superstar, but when a star becomes available, you have to ask the question, if you are in or out as a Kings fan, as the Beam regime. That and what stuck out most from the win. Oh, yeah, 12-15, the dog of the game. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m.
on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better, and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
As we come together to celebrate the end of this long, long year, Stockton Honda has savings to bring us all cheer. Happy Honda Day savings and selection galore. Stockton Honda's online express purchase and great people give you more.
Save on 400 new Hondas at Stockton Honda during Happy Honda Days. Shop in person or online with our express purchase option.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
With wet weather here, you're probably going to play a few rounds in the rain, so keep a few things in mind in those wet conditions. The ball probably won't go as far because you'll get little, if any, run out. If you tend to hit the ball low, maybe think about adjusting the loft of your driver to carry the ball farther. And when you get to the short clubs on the wet ground, your wedge can have a tendency to dig into the turf, so focus on hitting the ball first. And if you occasionally spin the ball back on the greens, expect more of that to happen when they're wet. Now, all of this assumes that you're ready to play in the rain. You own waterproof shoes and rain gear, rain gloves, which work best when wet, and an extra towel to keep everything else dry. But the most important thing you should bring to the first tee is a positive attitude. I found some of my most memorable rounds have been played in the rain. Overcoming the conditions to enjoy yourself while possibly shooting a good score makes for a great day. And remember, golf is a game, even in the rain. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa. I always approach the holidays with a sense of excitement and a time to be with family. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. From the time I was a youngster, the family table was always filled with a gathering of grandparents, uncles, aunts, brothers, and sisters. It was that way at my Noni's home, especially at my mother's home, and today at my own home around my Naturewood dining table. The order of the day is stories, the sweet sound of children laughing. Thanks for all the blessings we each enjoy, and of course, food. Always lots of food. Home is always adorned with special trimmings which remind of past gatherings, good times shared, and relatives that have passed on. Family-owned Naturewood Home Furnishings recognizes the significance of the holidays, and buyers pay special attention to find the distinctive pieces of furniture that you'll love for its individuality today and treasure for memories you'll have tomorrow. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for the Oakland A's every weekend.
And it's swung a line to left center, base hit, and the A's have won it on a walk-off line drive, base hit to left center.
Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports. We are 15 minutes away from the dog of the game. It'll be a fun one because we got Nate, and you know he likes to do too much with dog of the game. So that'll be a good one at 12:15. Get in your dogs of the game. We will look at who we chose for dog of the game and then talk about who actually was our dog of the game. That is at 12:15 as we react to the news from Shams Charania and the Bulls. One of the teams that we've discussed, are they going to blow it up similar to the Raptors? The Bulls seem to be starting to break. Zack LaVine, Vucevic, they are still very far apart on contract conversations between DeMar DeRozan and that front office. So I asked the question to the Beam regime, to the Kingdom, to Kings fans all over the world. After the Kings are rocking and rolling the way they are, starting to hit their stride, about to head to LA. We'll see if LeBron will be playing tomorrow. We got that coverage for you, as we do all games.
Oh, yeah.
Zack LaVine, does it move you, Chris Watkins?
I'm willing to listen, is what I would say. I mean, Zach's kind of one of those guys who I think undeniably has an incredible amount of talent. It's just, I don't think we've seen Zack LaVine really in a winning situation. And so that's kind of the question with him is, you know, if he were to be thrown into this Kings situation, what would his role be? And really what, you know, how much more limiting is what he would being asked to do be when it comes to a value proposition? Like if you're changing Zack LaVine from going from this green light scorer, a guy who's getting 26 to 28 points per game, and then it's like, okay, we actually just kind of need you to be 20 points per game and maybe a backup playmaker when De'Aaron's not out there. How good is he at that? And does that change the calculus of your team? To me, is what's most important when you're thinking of giving up assets for a guy of the quality of Zack LaVine. Because frankly, you know, the Bulls, even if they're both open to working out a trade, the Bulls aren't going to just give away Zack LaVine for Harrison Barnes and some peanuts.
No, and I don't know that. Well, and here's the thing. I think Harrison Barnes, because of that signing, I'm here on the ESPN trade machine. They can't do anything until
December, I think.
Right, January. December or January. So he's not that. And Zack LaVine, we can basically just kiss this goodbye as far as Harrison Barnes is concerned, because Zack LaVine is not going to be around. They're not going to, if they're announcing this now or it broke now, Zack LaVine will be on a different team by the time Harrison Barnes is able to be traded.
I would imagine so.
So a lot of this is a moot point, but we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, of course.
So now the question is, out of who is able to be traded right now, you look at a Davon Mitchell, you look at a Malik Monk, you look at a Kevin Huerter, and yeah, you'd have to also look at a Keegan Murray.
Probably some unfortunate combination of them all.
Right. And what is it that the Bulls want, and what is it that Zack LaVine wants? Zack LaVine, he might want to be the guy. Right. I don't know where he is in his career and how he feels. If he thinks he can be a 1B, to put it nicely, put a different bit of marketing on it, instead of being the Robin, hey, you're 1B to De'Aaron's 1A. It's his team. He's been here. Maybe he's down for that, but I don't think, I mean, especially now, like there's no way, and this is what a lot of fans do, not just Kings fans, just basketball fans in general. Everybody, I think, would do Kevin Huerter and Davon Mitchell for Zack LaVine.
Yeah.
Everybody besides the Bulls.
Right. And I don't know if that money works out either. I mean, that's kind of the tough thing with especially for the Kings, if they want to move for Zack LaVine, is I think Zack LaVine makes $26 million a year.
That wouldn't even work. You have to bring in somebody else.
And so that's why it's kind of unfortunate that they can't put Harrison into those deals until December 29th, I believe is the day. So yeah, I mean, that's going to kind of hamstring them from entering into that kind of conversation unless they get a third team involved. Because LaVine, frankly, just makes too much money. I don't think they would be able to fit him into the cap. And thinking about places for LaVine to go, how about a place in a situation we were talking about a little bit yesterday for a guy that we were talking about yesterday, a team that makes a lot of sense for Zack LaVine, and I hate to say it, Golden State. Now, you're talking about Andrew Wiggins and the struggles he has.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the things that they want from Wiggins is what Zack LaVine could definitely provide them. And, Wiggins is also one of those guys, former #1 pick.
Right.
You can convince yourself of the talent and the situation changing. And, Chicago, like you said, what are they trying to do? If they're moving on from Zack LaVine,
right,
winning is not their goal. And I think, we talked about the comparisons of them yesterday. I think a guy who's 3 years younger than Harrison Barnes, and has the pedigree that Andrew Wiggins has. Can't forget NBA champion. That's the first thing they're going to put when Andrew Wiggins is traded is NBA champion Andrew Wiggins. He's a guy who's been in situations before that you could convince yourself, okay, maybe new scenery, new situation. He can take everything he's learned and bring it into this new refreshed environment where there's not any expectations on him at all. Golden State kind of makes a lot of sense for a guy like Zack LaVine.
Yeah, the idea, and I know when you think of Golden State, you think of the free-flowing offense. We're just going to pass the ball around to all these different shooters, but you need somebody to create.
Well, you also need someone to be a shooter.
Well, that's also true.
If the Warriors want to be the team that they've been, they need guys who make
right,
shots.
And Golden State is dealing with Klay Thompson supposed to be your number 2.
Supposed to be, yeah.
And that's just hasn't worked out. And I was actually talking to Anthony Slater yesterday. We go way back, humble brag right there. So Anthony Slater and I were chatting, and he said, well, Klay kind of did this last year where he started out slow, and then he led the league in shooting percentage for the next 2 months, and then he disappeared in the playoffs. Yeah, they were out after the first. They made it past first round barely by the Steph Curry of their teeth.
Yep.
And then, I guess fairly competitive against the Lakers in a Laker team that got swept by the Nuggets. So if you do the math that way, it doesn't seem like the Warriors are very close.
Right.
I don't know what that looks like, but I do think that you make a good point because Andrew Wiggins, it just hasn't been there. To bring this back to the Kings, I got a fun one for you.
Ooh, let's do it.
So nothing was working on the trade generator besides I had to throw Keegan in there, right? And I didn't throw, I guess I could remove Keegan and put Malik Monk. I could try that too. But right now I have this. Kevin Huerter, Keegan Murray, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Duarte, Davion Mitchell.
Tomorrow we're past.
I would say D Mitchell.
Yeah, there you go. D Mitch,
and Chris Duarte.
That's a lot
for Zack LaVine.
Okay.
Trade is successful.
Oh, that's it. Oh, we're just getting Zack LaVine.
No, it gets
back.
better.
Okay.
It gets better. With this trade, you have increased this team's projected wins by 1.
The Kings, that is.
The Kings.
Yeah, I mean, that's just giving up way too much. There's just no way that Monty McNair would ever even entertain that. I think that they're hoping that Keegan Murray himself is better than what Zack LaVine. And that's a really high bar to try and reach. But I think that, if they were to rub a crystal ball and say, what's your ideal outcome for Keegan Murray? I would say it's probably a guy scoring potential wise who's that of Zack LaVine.
So right here, I swapped out Malik Monk and Keegan Murray. So Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk, Davion Mitchell, Chris Duarte for Zack LaVine.
Okay.
With this trade, as the Bulls, you have increased your wins by 4. As the Kings, you have decreased your wins by 4.
Yeah, you're getting rid of all of your shooting guards at that point, and then Davion as well, who's at the moment, I mean, you're only, I mean, I don't really consider Keon like a true backup point guard, but you lose your backup point guard at that point.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. And then you're also losing Malik as well. You're probably then not re-signing Malik, obviously, in the offseason. I just think that trades like that, and I think ultimately this is going to be the problem with the Kings trying to find this third star, whether it be OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, or Zack LaVine, is you're not going to want to get rid of Keegan Murray, and you probably aren't going to want to get rid of Malik Monk, and that's just going to limit you. And that's why, I think when I see Zack LaVine and the Bulls are open to trade discussions, I don't really care about that. I care more about the fact of what that symbolizes, that clearly Chicago has given up on this season. And it sounds to me like it's a fire sale over there. And I'm looking at guys like Alex Caruso. I don't think they would want to move on from someone like Patrick Williams, but I'm looking at that guy.
He's been not good this year.
Yeah, and I would take a look at all of those guys, all the fringe guys, because those guys are just a lot more attainable. You can maybe do a Chris Duarte and I don't know. You could just risk a lot less in terms of giving up. Maybe Colby Jones is attached with Chris Duarte, and you can get one of those fringe guys. Or I think even last year, Alex Caruso was being thrown around for a late first-round pick. You might not even need to get rid of a player. So when I hear that the Bulls are looking to sell Zack LaVine, my eyes get bigger, thinking of, okay, how do we poach some of those other guys that they just don't need if they're not looking to compete right now.
Yeah, and the reason we do this isn't because I think Chris wants Zack LaVine or I want Zack LaVine and the Kings. It's because the conversation is going to come up.
Exactly.
So before you even fire up your trade generator, we're just going to do it for you. Ultimately, the issue is this. For a team that is blowing up, Zack LaVine makes $40 million this year.
Oh, no.
Next year, he makes $43 million.
That feels like too much.
The year after that, he makes $45 million.
Okay.
And the year after that, he has a player option. That is the year 26-27. He has a player option to opt in to $48.9 million.
That feels like a lot of money. That's a whole lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
That might even be more than what De'Aaron is slated to make, if not like right on par with what De'Aaron's trying to make. And that's another problem with bringing in Zack LaVine, is with those dollar figures as well comes a level of expectation.
To be your 1B?
Yeah.
To be your 1B?
And that's where, again, it comes to, I just haven't seen Zack LaVine thrive in a situation like that. He hasn't really been put in a situation like that, but do you trust? It's just a really big bet on Zack LaVine for whoever decides to ultimately bite that bullet and bring him in. I think it's a really scary proposition. And I feel like if you're in a situation like Golden State where you have some built-in cachet, or unless you're just completely trying to rebuild everything and you don't really care about how it affects the team, I just don't see how a team like Sacramento would be in on Zack LaVine.
No, a two-time All-Star. Sometimes we talk on this show about monopoly money. That's what it seems like to me. Got to get to a break. $48 million for a couple 360 dunks and 3 heater games where he scores 40 points. Can't do it. Can't do it. Got to get to a break. What we can do is dog of the game. Next at 12:15 coming up. Get your dogs ready. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Look for a mix of sun and clouds for the afternoon. Light northwest winds and temperatures today topping out in the upper 60s. Expect overnight lows in the mid 40s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia for all your favorite models at low prices and payments, plus low finance rates and zero down deals with approved credit. Go see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia right here in Sacramento for over 20 years.
If you want the perfect holiday shopping shortcut, I've got 3 words. Get to Kohl's. I just went and found great gifts for even greater deals, like toys for up to 25% off. And with my 20% coupon, I got fleece for my family under $20 and a cookware set for under $75. Plus, I got $10 off home finds as a Kohl's Rewards member and earned Kohl's Cash. So if you want the season's best for less, you know where to go. Select styles. Toys, coupons do not apply. Kohl's Rewards offer and 20% offer end November 18th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Good Guys Heating and Cooling has a deal going on right now that you cannot miss. This summer was much shorter and cooler than normal, so that means Good Guys is overstocked and ready to clear out their warehouse. They've got inflation-busting pricing on a brand new heating and air system for just $82.99. No other company is offering a replacement system that low. Call Good Guys now at 530-GOOD-AIR to see if you qualify. That's 530-GOOD-AIR for a no-cost qualification appointment. Best service, best price, guaranteed. And that's no bull. License number 1057-618.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Live and local. This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, it's about that time. Your dog of the game. We've been waiting. Get them in. We're talking a little bit of trade generator. Let's just pipe down with all that.
Yeah, let's roll.
916 here on the text line. I'm going to say the same thing I've said for the last year. If it's a trade that Monty makes, I will trust it fully. No matter who it is, he's earned it. I appreciate that 916. To the 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. Keep those texts rolling in and keep those calls rolling in as we talk about your dogs. Let us know who is your dog of the game. Jill Adge on Twitter, very good follow, loves the Kings. Jill Adge says, the Zack LaVine news makes me more interested in the names not named Zack LaVine, which is what you said as well, Chris. And that is a great thought because it's just too much money. And I don't even know if I realized it was that much money, but we're talking about close to $50 million for a guy who you just aren't sure what exactly he is. So we will close the trade generator for now. And I think a lot of people don't realize that Harrison Barnes cannot be traded right now. So let's just pause on that and enjoy the Kings' victory. There will be plenty of times where it comes up again, but you got to keep in mind the logistics of all this. As we get to our dogs of the game, Nate, keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Yeah.
You want the hit?
Yeah, we need it.
Hitmaker.
We need it. There we go. Here on the 916, I gotta go Kevin Huerter. Last game he got heated up.
Come on.
And this game he's keeping it going. Shout out to the 916, Kevin Huerter. So yesterday I had Harrison Barnes.
Yep. Ooh.
Not the best one for me. Not the best guess, but I'm willing to wear it. I hit on Keegan, so you can't hit all the time. But you, sir, your dog of the game.
Yeah, mine.
Outstanding choice.
You know, pick him like how I see him. You know, he was due. I think that's more what it was. You saw him kind of start to feel himself a little in that game on Friday. I don't know, man. Something about Kevin Huerter, once he gets rolling, man, it just feels like the ball goes in so easy for him. And you could tell. You could just tell. I mean, that last three he hit, the very last one he hit, by that time his confidence was sky high. And, I mean, it really – I think there was a texter earlier who said it felt like the building – like the roof was going to come off the building. Yeah. It gets like that when Kevin and Keegan get going, but really it feels like when Kevin gets going – the stadium just responds so differently, and you can look no further than that Utah game winner last year. Kevin was just on one yesterday.
Well,
K-Vaughn.
Good on you, Chris. Great pick. Let's go to the phone lines. David wants to talk about his dog of the game. What's up, David? You're on Stiles and Watkins.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys.
What you got for us?
For me, it's the bonus. After he pulled that three-pointer and flashed it like nothing, and then he broke Keon Ellis's hand after that and one drop. Once he gets the energy going, for the big man, that's what's up.
Yeah,
absolutely. He had to have
great
a huge
call,
game.
David. Great call. Yeah. As we talk about your dogs of the game, Jess still wants DMX. Jess, we'll get you DMX.
We'll get there.
We can't. They're winning right now, Jess, on the YouTube chat. They're winning right now. Get into your dogs of the game. Nate, who's your dog?
Well, I don't know if this is a cop-out, so I'll have two answers here, but can Mike Brown be my dog of the game?
Yeah, I would say so.
That's
If he can be
doable.
the defensive player of the game, he can definitely be the dog of the game.
Yeah, so he's my dog of the game, but my backup would have been Sasha, just because of the way he just lets it fly, man. He gets the ball, he has no hesitation. He's got the arrow shot. I just figured, he needs some love for the way he's shooting. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I love that.
Dude,
I love that.
He pulls just
so quick.
No hesitation.
So quick.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you love people that take things very literally, right? So Mike Brown has talked a lot about, I want you guys to shoot when it's time to shoot. Sasha said, say less. Say less. I'm letting that thing fly whenever I got an opportunity. So, Nate, that's a great pick by you. Chris doesn't need to pick a new one because you hit on your nose on the head. I went with Harrison Barnes. It didn't work out for me. I wanted to switch some things up. So it is what it is. But I'm gonna have to go with. And you talk about cop outs, but I mean, if it can't be Keegan, I gotta go De'Aaron.
Come on,
because De'Aaron came back, and we talked here on this program about would he have a limited minutes. And very early in the game, you lean over to me, you say, De'Aaron's playing a lot, right? There were no limits on his minutes. He wanted to be out there. It really looked like he didn't miss a beat. As we're moving up from the Bay Area, I'm telling my wife about the Kings now, and hey, getting to learn the team and all that stuff. And I said, hey, watch out for De'Aaron, because I was at the game. She's watching. I said, watch out for De'Aaron. He's quick. He's left-handed. She's like, that sounds like somebody right up your alley. I said, I know. He's not. I was number 4 back in the day. He's number 5. He just won off, right? So love De'Aaron. And I get a text from her saying, yeah, De'Aaron Fox is pretty darn good. I said, welcome.
That guy.
Welcome. And got a nice beam and his return. So De'Aaron Fox is got to be my dog of the game.
It's a good pick. It's a really good pick. I mean, was last night the first night that we saw the official, De'Aaron Fox superstar? I mean, because, there was the conversation heading into the season, is this guy a superstar? What level's he at? And, I think rightfully so. Even I'll gladly admit that I didn't think he was at that superstar level yet. But after watching how this team struggled without him and then just immediately going to their best performance of the season the day he comes back, we might be living in a new era right here.
Yeah, the one thing in the arena, they started the MVP chant.
They did.
Yeah.
And he missed the free throw.
Yeah.
That's the one thing.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about his post-game comments about not commenting on his ankle? Did you
Yeah,
he said I can't tell you guys.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, because he doesn't want other teams to know, right? But it's an ankle.
Yeah,
I mean, an ankle
jumping,
is an ankle. Right.
Starting, stopping. I think stopping's the bigger issue.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah. So good on him and for his return, and a little bit of gamesmanship as they head to LA. The bitter rivals in LA. So nice to have him back from the 916. My dog Keon Ellis got more of a role on the squad and is running with it. How could you forget Keon? Ellis Island, as we're calling it. Ellis Island. You put a guy on Ellis Island, and you might not get very much offensive production from them for the rest of the evening. Good on the 916. That is great stuff. Gotta love the dog segment, the dog of the game. I was really trying to pick between De'Aaron and Herter, but Herter got love last game when he balled out. And now part of it is, hey, we want to expect these things. So Herter, a 20-piece, shot very well, but that's kind of what the Kings are going to need from you. So I can't give you a dog for that, for sure, because that's what we're starting to expect from you moving forward.
Can I get a quick number? I had our guy, Frankie Cardicelli, look this up for me before today's show. The amount of times, last night was the third time this season, only the third time this season, I should say, that a team had 4 players all score above 20 points. The other example was opening night. The Sixers did it. They had Embiid, Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey, Kelly Oubre all dropped 20. The New Orleans Pelicans did it a couple weeks ago against the Pistons. Herb Jones, CJ McCollum, Jonas Valanciunas, and Matt Ryan, shout out Matt Ryan, the basketball version, had 20. And then last night, De'Aaron, Keegan, Kevin, and Sabonis all finished with over 20 points. Only the third time that's happened this year.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. If you're scoring like that and defending,
crazy,
you're going to be very hard to beat. But we ask the question as we get to break, is it repeatable? Does it have to be? We will also discuss I know a lot of people miss him and feel from him. The road back for Davon Mitchell. Do you need him at this point? We didn't throw him in any trade generators, right? Mike Brown talked about how he can come back. Keon Ellis doing a good job. I think Davon didn't play that bad. I know some of the numbers look different, but sometimes life is about timing, and Keon Ellis is just, I'm not always there when you call, but I'm always on time. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season?
Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995?
Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. I'm so glad that those arch supports are in my shoes. I had terrible foot issues that prevented me from really having a normal life with my kids. With the Good Feet arch supports, man, I'm always ready. My kids actually got to enjoy me in the yard more, racing each other, backpedaling, teaching them some things, being a dad. If I had known about the Good Feet arch support earlier, I would have more than one championship. I would have 2 championship rings.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
Guys, your testosterone level can impact your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Book your testosterone level check at Revive Men's Health, Sacramento. They're the local experts with guaranteed treatment for low T and ED. There are no lab fees, and all your tests are included when you start treatment. And many patients find Revive more affordable than their insurance deductibles and copays. Book your testosterone level check today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers. Spread awareness of your product or services. We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
Gobble, gobble, folks. It's that time of year again when the leaves fall, and so do the prices at Elk Grove Kia. We're bringing you Thanksgiving early with deals that'll make your wallet say thanks. This fall, our lot is stuffed with the latest Kia models, and we've carved out incredible savings. Get your hands on a brand new Kia with Elk Grove Kia's award-winning reliability and service you can trust, unlike your auntie's dodgy broccoli casserole. Don't wait until the turkey's on the table. Come to Elk Grove Kia and feast on the best deals this fall. And don't worry if you have challenged credit. Our finance team has over 100 years of experience. They may or may not have even helped a pilgrim or two get qualified. So hurry on down to Elk Grove Kia, where the prices are falling faster than Uncle Bob falls asleep in front of the football game at Thanksgiving. It's the Thanksgiving sale going on now at Elk Grove Kia, located in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com. Elk Grove Kia, where the only thing bigger than our savings is our gratitude for our amazing customers.
Elk Grove Kia.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. At Sac Sewer, it's our first priority. Whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night at 916-875-6730. Sac Sewer. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Sactown Sports. Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. We have the Trucksmart drive of the game coming up at 1. Get your opinions in on that one as we talk all things Kings, Niners, the good stuff. From the 916 on the text line, talking about our dogs, our dog picks. I picked Harrison Barnes to be a dog last night. Basically, the one starter who was not only didn't go double digits, one starter that didn't score 20 points, as Chris said, it has only happened, 3 times this season. So it doesn't happen a lot. And 916 says, Stiles, you get a free pass for picking Harrison Barnes. You don't know no better. LOL from Nick. Nick! Come on, man. I'm trying to will him. He's done it before, but thank you for the text. We do have a contest that we want to get to.
Okay.
For the listeners. Okay, Sammy Hagar, 1 pair of tickets to see Sammy Hagar at Toyota Amphitheater August 16th, 2024. Live Nation has teamed up with Sactown Sports for your chance to see Sammy Hagar and friends at Toyota Amphitheater August 16th. For more information, visit SactownSports.com. But we are giving away tickets right now. Hop on the phone lines. If you are, I'll just go with my favorite number, the 4th caller.
There we go.
You will get a pair of tickets to see Sammy Hagar. We are making Nate earn his paycheck. Call right now, and he will take care of you behind the booth. So make that happen right now as we continue to break down all things Kings. And the question is, with some of the numbers that you just threw out, I think the answer is obvious, Chris. Is last night repeatable? And does it have to be? Because it's not repeatable that often.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to do that 15 times this season or anything like that. Definitely not 45 times if that's how they want to win 50 games. But it's still, again, it's a roadmap or a potential road to victory. And it doesn't have to be the perfect round number that is 20 plus. But I think the bigger point and the bigger thing that the Kings need to achieve is ultimate balance. Like, it's okay if Sabonis ends up with 17 points and Herter gets 16, but Fox has 25 and Keegan has 21, but Malik is contributing 15 and Sasha's contributing 12. It's like what we talked about earlier with what De'Aaron said after the game. This team is not like Cleveland or, frankly, even like OKC, where those two guys or those two teams are so reliant on, we need Shea to get 30 plus. We need Donovan Mitchell to get 30 plus. The Kings, again, last season, they had 6 or 7 different guys finish a game with 30 plus points. This is another example of just having so many different weapons and guys who are capable of just having it be their night on a given night. That's what's repeatable to me is the balance of the scoring. The fact that it can be, if Sasha only plays 17 minutes last night, if he plays 25, does he get up to 20 points? Does he get 18 points?
The way he's shooting
right now, Malik was almost coasting last night, especially after the amount of weight that was on his shoulders when De'Aaron was out. Last night must have felt like he was a walk in the park or something, and he finishes with a smooth 13 points, 4 assists, 5 boards. To me, the repeatable thing from last night is just spreading the wealth and not having it be on anybody's shoulder for at least the first 3 quarters for the scoring load to be on them. I think just the diversity of how they got their buckets. And, Harrison Barnes is also capable of scoring more than 4 points. So getting him involved as well, I just think that the thing that's most repeatable is the spreading of the points.
Yeah, that's a great call. And it doesn't have to be at that clip, but just the fact that it's always going to be somebody in the depth that we talked about.
They scored 132. They can get to 120 and still win.
Right. Real quick, Sammy Hagar, I know a lot of you have been listening to this station for a very long time or on the YouTube channel. You can see the number, but if not, it is 916-339-1140. Just wanted to make sure I got that out there. No. I know a lot of you do have it memorized, but in case you didn't, so get in there. Like we said, we're trying to make Nate earn his paycheck, so get in there, get those calls, and see Sammy Hagar pair of tickets August 16th, 2024. And you make a great point. In the Sasha, this is exactly how it was drawn up. The Sasha Vezenkovs of the world, right? And not right now, but the Chris Duartes of the world. These guys to come in and just give you a spell, right? That backup running back that I think I've got terrible running backs on my fantasy football, so that's what I'm running out there right now. But those backup running backs that just give a break to your main guy and say, hey, we're okay. We can make it through. We can take care of this. So you bring up a great point. And the problem that we had been seeing lately is that it wasn't about the guys on the bench. It was about the starters.
Right.
And it was about the issue of, oh, my goodness, Kevin Huerter, is he going to show up for us? Oh, my goodness, Keegan Murray, is he going to show up for us? Can we get one of them? Because at this point, and you know what? I know you've been very headstrong on Domantas Sabonis, on your guy Domas, and I understand why. I mean, because you do forget about it. You do forget about it, and you expect it, right? And his expectations, especially for this team, are so high that you don't really sit there and get to enjoy it. As we've said, it's hard, and I know you did it a couple days ago, to make him the dog of the game. Because if he's not the dog of the game, that's an L.
Yeah.
That's an L, right? That is an L.
Easy
so,
L.
Between Domas and De'Aaron, you have those guys in some capacity every single day. The question is, who else are you going to be able to have to get things done, right? And you needed Keegan, and you needed Kevin Huerter, and something from Harrison Barnes, and you're starting to see that. Then you got the sprinkles on top of the sundae with Sasha Vezenkov and these guys coming off the bench. And Malik Monk, of course. Malik doesn't even feel like sprinkles. He feels like really the
it's a second dessert. It's like getting a brownie on the side as well.
Right. You need part of it. So I think is the percentage repeatable? No. Is getting this amount of production and being around that 115, 130 is a little crazy.
130 is insane.
The 115 to 120 range and defending like this, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think you could look at the Cavaliers scoring and say, what? But they put up 120. You can't tell me they play good defense when they allow 120. But we saw this a lot last year. This is part of what's baked in with when you're going to score at the amount that the Kings do is, you're going to allow a ton of extra possessions as well. And, other teams, they're going to try and keep up. And a lot of that is last minute scoring. A lot of it is desperation scoring as well. I think the Kings could have won this game 120 to 110 even. I think that the defense was there, and I wouldn't use the ultimate final score as the barometer for how well this team defended. I think definitely this team could have scored 120 last night, and still they played defense well enough to where I think they could have gotten the result, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And, get into a break soon, but when we get back, we're going to talk about how they stack up in the West, because the question is not necessarily a game like this. If you knock off, right, I don't know, from the 130, if you drop it down to 120, but with that defense, how many teams in the West does that beat? A lot.
Yeah. A lot of teams can't score like that.
No.
They just can't. A lot of teams just don't have the overall depth, and that it helped them a lot last year. I mean, scoring 120 is pretty much like that was the number that the Kings looked to get to pretty much all of last year. And when they scored over 120, they would win exponentially bigger amount of their games. So that's definitely the number they're looking for. It's just, if 130 feels extra, like that's when they're really going. But if this team can just continue to put up this level of production, they're going to be just as good as they were last year. I don't know what record-wise exactly where that's going to fall, but they'll find an incredible amount of success if they can still replicate the offense that they had last year.
Yeah, and I think people are figuring out their roles, and you still have somebody, and I'm sure he'll take a trip back to the G League at some point, but somebody like a Keon Ellis, who we're sitting there saying, just shoot the first one. He's starting to get a little bit more comfortable. Everybody in the arena knows you just need to get something from him offensively, and they're really happy for him and what he's doing defensively. So it's almost similar to how people sounded when Keegan was missing shots and Kevin Huerter was missing shots. Everybody, you can hear the crowd trying to will those shots for Keon in, and they just haven't fallen for him yet. But he did have that really nice move where he drove and then hit. It wasn't a reverse, but he stopped. He did a pivot foot, and then he got to the cup. So if Keon can unlock some of his bag, and again, we talk about the road back for Davon Mitchell, you can't have both, right? You just can't exist with both, because you need something offensively. And if you're sacrificing that with Keon or sacrificing it with Davion, it's going to be tough. You can't double down on both. And it's just, I mean, if you want to just go straight clamper lineup, right? And just clamps line up and just have
if the shots just aren't falling and you're like, okay, there's no way.
Let's just hold them under 90, right? You would go Davion, Keon,
Kessler. I guess Keegan with how well he's defended, and then you throw. I'm throwing Alex Len,
right?
Alex
Just
Len
team,
out there. No update yet on Alex Len.
Yeah, no update yet. I know a lot of you have been asking on the text line and the YouTube chat and the calls, but no update on Alex Len yet. Hopefully he gets back out there. Didn't look great. Looked like a legit ankle. I don't know what it is about these ankle sprains here with the Kings. It seems like everybody is, having to deal with it, but they'll power through. And we got to get to a break. When we get back, how do the Kings stack up in the West? We'll take a trip around the Western Conference between 9 and 11 games in to the season. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
It's amazing how a short drive can make an incredible difference when you buy a Mercedes-Benz. Family-owned Mercedes-Benz of Stockton invites you to take advantage of a special certified pre-owned Mercedes finance rate of 3.09% for up to 36 months. October is a great month to consider buying a pre-owned Mercedes. See why our customers come back year after year, generation after generation. Your best Mercedes-Benz car buying experience ever awaits you at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. mbofstockton.com.
Does your dog leave frowny piles of poo around the yard? Did you know that a solid poo is one of the best indicators of your dog's gut health? Supreme Source Super Premium Dog Food is made with organic super seaweed and other powerful antioxidants, supporting a healthy digestive system. Real protein is always the first ingredient, plus a blend of essential vitamins and minerals to help support your dog's overall health and well-being. Do their digestion a solid. Literally. Find Supreme Source Premium Dog Food at Safeway, Safe Mart, and Winco, or a local grocery store near you.
Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, small business owner. Are you ready to have the best year ever in 2024? When's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But Pi Insurance could save you up to 30% in just 3 minutes. Go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for your business. No hassles or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could make this your best year ever. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
I always approach the holidays with a sense of excitement and a time to be with family. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. From the time I was a youngster, the family table was always filled with a gathering of grandparents, uncles, aunts, brothers, and sisters. It was that way at my Noni's home, especially at my mother's home, and today at my own home around my Naturewood dining table. The order of the day is stories, the sweet sound of children laughing. Thanks for all the blessings we each enjoy, and of course, food. Always lots of food. Home is always adorned with special trimmings which remind of past gatherings, good times shared, and relatives that have passed on. Family-owned Naturewood Home Furnishings recognizes the significance of the holidays, and buyers pay special attention to find the distinctive pieces of furniture that you'll love for its individuality today and treasure for memories you'll have tomorrow. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
You know what time it is. It's time to trade up to a brand new Kia at Folsom Lake Kia. Trade up to the newest technology with a low payment. Shop Folsom Lake Kia, family owned for over 20 years.
Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. Trucksmart Driver of the Week coming up here 15 minutes at 1 o'clock. We will want your thoughts on that as well. After that, we will be breaking down the road back for Davon Mitchell and what he can do to get back in the rotation. And we asked the question to the audience, if you want Davon Mitchell back in the rotation, 916-339-1140. And thank you to everybody who participated in the Sammy Hagar contest. We have a winner, so thank you to that winner. Congrats to you. Enjoy your time there in August. And Nate is sweating profusely now because we made him answer some phone calls, so thank you for that. As we break down the West, and if you haven't heard the news yet, Zack LaVine of the Bulls is essentially being shopped around per Shams Charania. A lot of people are asking questions about the Bulls. Zack LaVine makes a ton of money. Okay, so what you should know, things to know if you are a Kings fan and you've thought about what trades should the Kings be interested in, or if you've had any in your mind. Number one, Zack LaVine makes an absurd amount of money.
Yep.
He's making $40 million this year, and it will only go up as his contract goes into the future. $40 million this year, $43 million next year, $45 million. That's basically $46 million. It's $45.9 million in 25-26. 40 and in 26-27, a player option for 48.9 in 26-27. So as they say on Shark Tank, shout out Mark Cuban, even though we don't like the Mavs. For these reasons, I'm out. Do you watch Shark Tank, by the way?
I do, of course. Yeah.
Who's your favorite shark?
Of course, Mark. Mark's great.
Mark is my favorite, but I also like Damon. And I like Lori.
Yeah, I respect Fubu for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I cannot believe that did he make most of his money off of Fubu?
I don't know, but I know that's what he used. He's to the point now where his list is so long, he doesn't even say Fubu anymore.
Yeah.
You know when you change your resume and you have to get rid of your old
like
jobs.
My Pizza Hut job no longer is really relevant for me applying for state jobs or whatever.
Is Mr. Beautiful or Mr. Wonderful still on that show?
I believe so. I believe he is the show.
Yeah, and then they always have a guest, and that's what we were talking about because Alex Rodriguez,
right?
His return back to good graces and great PR team. Alex Rodriguez was a shark, or is a shark, fairly often on Shark Tank.
I know Kevin Hart was one too, and I was like, what is going on? Like I need stats on the Sharks.
Yeah,
I'm like, what's your net worth? Like, how much
right.
are you willing to invest here? Like,
you're one of
what's
those
the
guys.
pot that
You're one of those
working
guys. You want a specific shark.
Yes.
Did you see?
Yeah.
And I think
1,000% I want a specific shark.
I think Kings fans will appreciate this because did anybody see the Shark Tank episode where these guys had air fresheners, right?
Okay.
There were two dudes from the Bay Area. They had air fresheners, right?
I'm out.
But they were NBA branded air fresheners.
I've seen the
So
clip
they were
of this,
Warrior
yeah.
fans, and they thought it would be funny to give Mark Cuban Warrior fan air fresheners. And everybody thought it was funny. They thought it was a good joke. Mark Cuban,
straight face
says, this is the dumbest marketing I've ever seen. You know who I'm a fan of, or you know who I'm part owner of. So for you guys to do this, I don't find it funny at all. Dumbest marketing I've been a part of. For these reasons, I'm out. Before they even said anything.
Yeah.
It feels staged. That feels staged. It
Yeah.
felt a little staged. No.
I didn't think so. They were legitimately surprised to me, but I might be naive.
I don't know if staged is the right word, but I think he definitely saw the television opportunity for it and seized it. Like, was Mark Cuban actually that offended by it? Probably not, but he probably was like, the producers will love this.
Yeah, I don't need these guys.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah.
I'm just gonna buy into
Plus,
it.
from what I understand, I think I heard Mark Cuban interviewed, and I guess those sessions are like, some of them go for like 2 hours.
Right.
And they just cut the best 3 minutes of it and turn it into TV.
Yeah,
but
that
like,
makes sense.
There's a lot of, back and forth negotiations and nitty gritty things that you just don't really care about that they don't show. But yeah, that was definitely an iconic Shark Tank moment.
Yeah, so Mark Cuban out on those air fresheners, and I think we as a Kings group out on Zack LaVine. He just makes way too much money, but we're not out on the Alex Carusos of the world and some of the other guys that might be able to help out the Kings move forward as we take a trip around the Western Conference. And, it really is wide open. Jamal Murray still dealing with that hamstring. He's out, they said, for at least the month. And let us not forget, he's also, great season last season. But some of these big injuries, you might not re-injure that. But we've seen it with Kevin Durant. I know Jamal Murray is younger than Kevin Durant. But you start to see things pile up and you think, okay, after a long season last season, winning the finals, that ability to repeat, where is that? The Nuggets have looked great. They've looked great, but at the same time, you know, it doesn't take a lot for one thing to take the wheels off, and they don't have some of these guys. Bruce Brown, they moved off of some of these guys, so very interesting to see what happens there. They are in first in the West. Another team we haven't talked about a lot, and the Kings will play them, I believe, on this upcoming road trip. The Dallas Mavericks. How in the world does a team with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving fly under the radar? I don't know, but they are 8-2, right? And maybe they're figuring some things out. That could be the team that nobody thought was going to do something in terms of losses. The Timberwolves sitting at 7-2, at third in the West. The Houston Rockets, everybody's favorite team, 6-3. The Oklahoma City Thunder at 6-4. The Kings at 5-4. So the Kings in that 6th seed so early in the season. I know.
I'm just laughing because it really made me realize that for the rest of this season, every Sacramento Kings fan is going to be the biggest Houston Rocket fan.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have to be able to explain away. No. Actually, I mean, Houston's like the 4 seed. So those 2 losses all the way back in, what was that? Was that even in November? Back in November. Those actually don't look that bad in hindsight.
They don't. But they don't.
They actually don't. But
they don't.
We're going to need the Rockets to continue to be successful.
They don't, though. So in terms of wanting to maybe make a move and what you think, and it's so early, the Golden State Warriors sit at 6-5. The Los Angeles Lakers sit at 5-5. The Phoenix Suns off to a tough start. And speaking of the Phoenix Suns, first time the Big Three will play together tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, allegedly, I'll have to see it first. I mean, we've quite literally seen Kevin Durant get injured in warmups as he was about to make his Suns debut. So I'm going to hold off on saying that those guys are going to play at the same time on the same floor on the same team together just yet. Just once the ball's officially tipped, then I'll say that that's going to happen. But that's the plan at the moment.
Well, and in the pre-show, I gave you an over-under for amount of games that the Big Three for the Suns will play together. You set it at 40.5.
Yeah. Even that feels like it might be.
I have to go over, but I'm not confident.
All 3 of them is the tough. It's like 2 of 3 for sure. Maybe I'd say like 45 to 50 games, but all 3, I mean, it hasn't even been like Kevin Durant's actually been the healthy one. The oldest one of them all has been the one that's been the most healthy. So I don't know how you're supposed to guess when any of those guys are supposed to be clicking at the same. And I'm not even talking about clicking. We're just talking about playing. I have no idea how you can try and gauge that Sun situation. And we probably won't really get a great gauge on how good or how disappointing they are until probably like the All-Star break in February, just because I think it's going to be so much of, well, they look like this when all 3 play, but they look like this when 2 of them play and this when the other 2 play. And, this is what they look like when 1. And it's going to be a mess trying to figure out that team all year.
But this is exactly what we talked about, right? And if I'm not mistaken, and we're doing crosstalk today, I might have something for Kyle Draper, because if I'm not mistaken, he thought I was just trying to ingratiate myself in the Kings fan base when I said that the Kings could get the 1 seed. But everything is starting to play out exactly like how we thought, right? You have the Nuggets as the 1 seed right now. The surprises that I see, and it's still so early, surprises I see are the Mavericks, the Rockets, who I don't believe will hang around, the Thunder. I think we all thought they could get to a 4 seed, and the Timberwolves, who we were both high on, but a lot of people weren't. And the Kings in that 6th spot. You have the Warriors, who Steph is sitting out tonight, right? The Lakers against the Timberwolves. The Lakers, who LeBron just sat out. AD's sitting out, right? Then you have the Phoenix Suns, who, again, this is their first time playing the Big Three all together, and we're at the 11th game of the season for them. And then the Clippers.
I was hoping you weren't even going to mention the Clippers. I was like, I shouldn't,
but the Clippers are 3-6.
Losing to Memphis these
they're
days.
A complete mess with James Harden. So this idea that the Kings can't hang around and sniff that 1 seed when the Denver is just trying to hang on.
You can argue the Kings are struggling right now, and they're the 6th seed.
So I think there's a lot of things. The question is, should they make any moves? There's only there are a couple glaring spots that we've seen, and now it looks like it's starting to get better. They're in a really tough spot money-wise. And again, to everybody who says, move Harrison Barnes, one more time, because they just extended him,
just as the same thing happened in Phoenix, right? When they couldn't move DeAndre Ayton, they cannot move Harrison for a certain amount of time until that December, January timeframe. So just so you know. So I think the easiest thing is, as we get to a break here, 209 with maybe the text of the day, our defense will be even better when Trey comes back. Talking about Trey Lyles, that's what we haven't talked about, the return of Trey Lyles. So maybe it's addition without doing anything. Now we hope to get an update. We will have our Kings reporters in here the rest of the week tomorrow and all that good stuff to figure out the update on Trey Lyles. But maybe you stand pat because, again, we did the numbers in our little trade generator. Harrison can't move. You can't move Harrison. Yeah. You don't want to move Malik Monk. Right. You definitely don't want to move Keegan Murray. No. Maybe you're good with what you got and you just add Trey Lyles and you say, let's get to work. We'll be right back with our Trucksmart Drive of the Week and the road back. Speaking of trucks and roads, the road back for Davon Mitchell. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out. Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Imagine getting ahead of your irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C by treating it with Linzess. Then you could start proactively managing your constipation with belly pain and get ahead of your symptoms. Talk to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up AutoSave in the Chase mobile app. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools, one bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
AutoSave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Stick to the plan. Trust no one.
From the director of 7, Fight Club, and Gone Girl.
Anticipate. Don't improvise.
Michael Fassbender.
Forbid empathy. Empathy is weakness. Weakness is vulnerability. This is what it takes if you want to succeed.
The Killer. Rated R. Under 17. Not admitted without parent. Now playing. Only on Netflix.
Guys, your promise is your word, right? You stick by it, you live by it. So does Revive Men's Health with our Revive Promise for low T and ED. The Revive Promise means your tests and lab work are free when you begin treatment, and our low T and ED treatments are money-back guaranteed. Yes, that's right. We stand behind our treatments and our results. That's our promise to you. Revive Men's Health has successfully helped thousands of men with low T, ED, and sexual health issues since 2011. If you're experiencing symptoms like chronic low energy, less drive, sleep issues, weight gain, poor performance, bad moods, or ED, you need Revive. Don't settle. Get affordable, guaranteed custom low T and ED solutions with lasting results from Sacramento's favorite men's clinic. And remember, there are no extra bills when you begin treatment. All labs and tests are free, and your low T and ED treatments are money-back guaranteed. Call Revive Men's Health Sacramento today to schedule your appointment. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports. Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. One more hour with you. Been a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. 14th show on the 14th day of November. We will wait. We have to do some Thanksgiving conversation with Carmichael Dave because he's not going to be here.
Must be nice.
Next week. Must be nice. But we'll wait to do our Thanksgiving convos, and it will be fun because Chris and I, we love talking about food almost as much as we like talking about sports. Almost. As we get in to the Trucksmart Drive of the Week, brought to you by Trucksmart, your premium retailer and installer of truck and SUV accessories for over 30 years. Your truck's gonna love them. And Chris, you have the 3 drives that we are going to pick from, as well as the listeners help us pick the drive of the week. Chris, take it away.
Well, this was an exciting week. There was honestly too many options to pull from. I had to dwindle down the selections, even in this break right here. There was just a lot of great plays. Josh Dobbs continues to make spectacular plays, but this segment's not about me. So unfortunately, my guy Josh Dobbs, even though he did win last week's award, he will not be nominated, even though he definitely had some plays that feel like it probably should have been up for contention. But nonetheless, let's get into it. Let's do our Trucksmart Drive of the Week. And our first nominee comes from somebody who had his first game action this weekend, and that was Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals, who had this spectacular 13-yard scramble on 3rd and 10 to set his team up into field goal range to kick what would be the eventual game winner in Kyler Murray's return to football.
Pressure. Cardinals need a play right here from their franchise quarterback. Murray running for his life. Murray trying to buy some time. Murray gets a couple of blockers. Murray's going to run for it. He's got it. First down, Cardinals.
Wow, what a run. What a game for Kyler. I mean, I definitely did not expect when he's coming back from an ACL injury, the last thing you're expecting to see is him running around and looking like the guy that he looked like this weekend. So shout out Kyler.
And the word on the street was that he doesn't like getting hit and wants to start running less. So normally that happens later in the season and he hasn't played, so we'll keep an eye on that. But good to see Kyler looking healthy.
Absolutely.
Good for him.
And of course, wouldn't everybody should know that this was going to make this list. I mean, it was the most exciting play for every 49er fan this weekend. It's how Kyle Shanahan opened up his second half. They had one play go for, I think it was like 9 yards or something like that. But they were trying to make a statement against Jacksonville. And what a better way to make a statement than this long touchdown catch by George Kittle.
Purdy under center, a 5-step drop. Now going to pump and throw down the sideline. Kittle! He's got it and he's gone! Touchdown! San Francisco!
Keep feeding the beast on a wheel route and George Kittle's wheels. There is nothing wrong with them. Matched up on Devin Lloyd. Pure one-on-one.
Wow. I mean, and what a score it was. It didn't need to be some, long drawn out call from Papa because Kittle quite literally walked into that end zone. What a score from George Kittle. He continues to have just ridiculous performances these past couple weeks, and the 49ers getting hot at the right time. George Kittle, second nominee for our Trucksmart Drive of the Week. And number 3 comes at this is really an interesting one. There's a lot of story that goes behind this one. Dan Campbell has become infamous, much like Brandon Staley, for going for it on 4th down, especially on Sunday. I think he had a 4th and 5 where he decided to run down the middle with David Montgomery. And so shout out Dan Campbell. We love consistency. We love keeping that same energy. Dan Campbell kept that same energy when the game was on the line. A lot of people probably would have said, just take the points, man. You got it. You're already in field goal range. Not Dan Campbell. He's going for the foot on the throat. 4th and 2 on the opponent's side of the field. Dan Campbell decides to go for it, and this is how it sounded.
Gutsy call. Goff's pass caught by Laporta for the first down. Just have only one timeout to set up a field goal at the end.
What a job by Laporta to find the soft spot, and then Goff staying poised and just finding the one little area to move the chains, and now you can take it down.
Man, what a game that was, back and forth the entire game. And definitely wasn't the longest play, but it was definitely the most important play of that game as the Lions set up an easy 41-yard field goal to win that one 41-38. That is our 3rd and final nominee for this week's Trucksmart Drive of the Week.
Well, we are getting some texts in here about the Drive of the Week, 916-339-1140. From the 916, it's Kittle, and it's not particularly close. Yep. Okay, thank you very much. From the 916, from the 530, Kyler's was a good run, but it's got to be Kittle. That Papa call was legendary. Nate, I know where you're going to go.
Come on, dude. As the host of Return of the Empire tonight from 6 to 7.
Great plug.
Like I'm going to pick Kyler Murray. Like I'm going to pick Jared Goff. Chris, you hyped up that call better than Jim Nantz and Tony Romo just really did. That was a mediocre call by them. Really that was such a big play, and they're just like, oh, he got it.
And he got it.
And that was ridiculous. Yards. So I'm going with George Kittle. Yeah. The call, Greg Papa's call was done before Kittle got in the end zone.
Yeah.
That never happens.
Right.
That was awesome. There was no safety anywhere.
Nowhere.
Kittle walked in. It was great. So what a good Sunday.
Fantastic. And sometimes I was curious, was back in the day, am I making this up? If you walk in like that, they would give you a taunting.
Really?
Maybe it's the pointing.
Yeah.
But I thought sometimes if you literally walked in the end zone or like messed around before the end zone. I remember Deshaun Jackson getting in trouble for something like that, but I think he ran along the touchdown or something like that.
You can't point. Well, the Deshaun Jackson, like running along the end zone is to kill time a lot of the time.
Right.
Like if you have a bomb and whatever, there's 30 seconds left, you want to get it down to 24.
Right.
But then the pointing rule is so stupid because like Tyreek Hill points at everyone when he goes. Yeah. But I think if it goes behind you, that's when the issue arises. Right. Or if you hold the ball at them or something, I think that's where
somebody got one. I think this past weekend somebody got it for pointing. They got a taunting flag. So, Chris, who do you choose?
I think I'm going to pander to the audience, and it really was the George Kittle touchdown. Wasn't the longest touchdown on the weekend. I think Devin Singletary had a 75-yard run, but I mean, it came at the perfect time, and it really it ended that game. Like there was no coming back after that George Kittle touchdown. It felt like that was the nail in the coffin that really put it in, and that's an incredibly aggressive play call, and I absolutely love it. It's, of course, not as aggressive as Dan Campbell's 4th and 2 for the game, but I just love the fact that, they sensed blood in the water there, and they went for it. They saw the single coverage on the outside. Brock made an absolutely beautiful throw.
Yeah.
And 66 yards later, it's one of the best touchdowns of the season.
For the throw that I have named the hater breaker, because it will break the haters away from hating on Brock Purdy, because that is a throw that I think most Brock haters would say that he cannot make. That's got to be it. Your Trucksmart Drive of the Week, brought to you by Trucksmart, your premium retailer and installer of truck and SUV accessories for over 30 years. Your truck's going to love them. Nate, let's hear it one more time.
Purdy under center, a 5-step drop. Now going to pump and throw down the sideline. Kittle! He's got it and he's gone! Touchdown! San Francisco!
Keep feeding the beast on a wheel route in George Kittle's wheels. There is nothing wrong with him.
I don't know why Tim Ryan entering the call just cracks me up. I don't know what it is.
You know he was just so hyped.
Yeah.
Keep feeding the wheel route. Because it sounded like he almost wanted to say the beast or something like that. That was your Trucksmart Drive of the Week, brought to you by Trucksmart, your premium retailer and installer of truck and SUV accessories for over 30 years. Your truck's gonna love them.
Yeah.
Minute left here.
Can I just say, I really wanted to throw Josh Dobbs.
I know you did. You brought it up about 15 times.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, like, there was another great Josh Dobbs touchdown run. It was incredible. He's, pressure collapses, the pocket collapses, squeezes out to the outside, runs, jumps into the end zone. Created a great Kodak moment, and man, I don't know. The dude just looks like some combination of Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady and maybe a little Peyton Manning.
You got some EPA stats to back that up?
Oh, don't even get me started on his 10-yard splits, Nate. Come on.
How fast do you think Josh Dobbs runs the 40 in?
Like what was his 40 time coming out?
Yeah.
I would say
4.65
or 4.6. Yeah, probably a 4.6.
4.64.
Oh, I was close.
Oh
you
my
were
gosh.
close.
I mean, I'm curious where that ranks because I'd imagine Anthony Richardson probably ran. I think he ran the fastest 40 of all time for a quarterback, and it was a 4.46 or something like that. So
yeah,
dude's got wheels for sure.
He does, and the only reason I bring it up is because I like to, say things are kind of low key, right? I think he's got low key speed. I don't think people really thought of Josh Dobbs as a burner. I liked him at Tennessee, but I don't remember him doing things like this.
No.
So, I mean, good on Josh Dobbs for what he's been able to do. And happy for you, Chris.
Thank you.
As your Vikings, where it looked like things were going to go in the wrong direction.
Yes.
They're starting to go back
scary.
in the right direction. So, very happy for Vikings fans out there. Not that I have any connection to Minnesota at all, but I do now because my partner is a Vikings fan. Got to get to a break, but when we get back, we will talk about the road back for Davon Mitchell and what that means for the Kings, or did Keon Ellis simply lock it up? We also have Warriors news on Steph Curry and just where they're at as we monitor this Bulls Zack LaVine conversation. And later we'll ask the question, is Brock Purdy better than Josh Allen? Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, savvy, staying ahead of the market at every turn, finding ways to do more with less, and taking advantage of every opportunity that comes their way. That's why Comcast Business is introducing the Small Business Bonus. For a limited time, you can get up to a $1,000 prepaid card when you switch to Comcast Business, the company with the largest, fastest, reliable network. Yep, you heard that right. 1,000 back. Something extra for your company. From the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call or go online to learn about the $1,000 bonus today. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 12/5/2023. New customers with 750 megabits per second or above and 2-year agreement must keep required new services for 30 days to receive prepaid card. Other restrictions apply.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
We are back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. 45 more minutes with you as we take you up to 2 p.m. Thank you for being a part of our Trucksmart Drive of the Week. This is from the 916. CD's one-handed catch
An NFL all-out performance deserves a mention.
For sure.
Last 3 games, NFL best. That is a great call from the 916. CeeDee's been balling.
Been ridiculous.
He's been balling.
3 straight games with, I think, 7 catches, 150 yards, and a touchdown or something like that?
Yeah, and
I think it's 10 catches, isn't it?
Is it 10? It definitely might be 10.
Yeah.
It was something absurd like that.
Do you think he's a top 5 wide receiver, real quick?
I don't think so. If I were to do the list off the top of my head, I think he's probably more so like – he's definitely top 15. I don't even know if he's top. He might be top 10. I'm trying to think of the list in my head right now, but it just doesn't feel like he's really consistent enough. Though these ridiculous numbers are definitely helping with that, but it just doesn't feel like he often enough has wide receiver number 1 stats. You know, and I think that's really what Dallas is missing. I feel like they need that go-to guy and. CeeDee's definitely done that these past couple of weeks, but it hasn't felt like they've had that consistent target that is just always moving the ball down the field.
And the Giants are pretty awful.
Good point.
Brandon Cooks shows up once every couple games. He's very confusing of a player just in general. But yeah, if CeeDee's your number 1, they have not been able to lock down that number 2 receiver.
Yep.
And
until they bring Stephon Diggs, right?
Trayvon Diggs on the Cowboys saying, not bring in my brother, but free my brother from the shackles of Josh Allen and that Bills offense because it's so terrible. Thank you, Trayvon Diggs. Nobody asked. And if you do try to bring him in to the Cowboys, Stephon Diggs is a guy who wants the ball.
He does.
So I don't know. Now you got Dak going to be getting the, crazy eyes, not knowing who to throw the ball to. I mean, if you're a Niners fan, why not? I mean, you might be scared if you're a Niners fan, but in all actuality, this would probably be good because I don't think there's any way it works. I don't think they bring him in.
Energy.
Right. I just don't think the both of them can exist. And I think CeeDee is pretty chill of a guy, but definitely. Stephon is the guy who seems like. Did you see the thing actually last weekend?
Did
you see the thing last weekend? When he played, and I think they had a highlighted game. I forgot who the Bills played. But I don't know if he just has that type of humor. We didn't talk about this. When it was a 2-point conversion, Stephon Diggs runs into a security guard. And the security guard is laying on top of Stephon Diggs, and Stephon Diggs says, "Get up." And he's got a helmet on, so I don't know if he's kidding or not.
Yeah.
But people were like, is he kind of a jerk or was he just messing around? I don't know. But I wouldn't want Stephon Diggs on my team. And I think he has some of the crispiest routes in the league. But sure. I would be out on that. As we start to break down Davon Mitchell and the road back for Davon, did not play in the last 2 games.
Just last game.
Just last game. Just like that was JaVale, and now he brought JaVale back. Right. So Davon did not play last game at all.
DNP-CD.
And the question is the mop-up duty thing. Do you think Davon, do you think that's a Mike Brown thing where he respects him too much to put him in mop-up duty?
So. I think so. Like, because that kind of time. That time is kind of reserved for for lack of a better term, scrubs. Like you're not going to throw Davon out there and you're not going to say, hey, you got replaced by a 2-way guy, but hey, can you go finish this game up for us? Because, it kind of is, I think it's one of those unspoken things. How I've always read it is, if you're going to throw a guy out there, you're kind of in a way saying like, it's kind of, if you get hurt in those minutes, like it's whatever, but we're just kind of throwing you out there to end the game and to keep our main guys healthy. So throwing Davon out there is a little bit like you're kind of in that third string of group now. And so I just kind of think that's one of those things where it's just an unnecessary potential headache. It's an unnecessary potential explainer that you just completely avoid by giving him the DNP.
Yeah, just give him the DNP from the 916. If Davon can't hit a 3-pointer above a 35% rate, he's really got no use on this team.
It's what we've talked about in the past. I mean, I think it's become more and more evident now as the Kings become more and more full of talent and have higher and higher expectations. But that was always the thing with Davon. If he wasn't going to be able to knock down his perimeter shots with his height being also a factor, I think it's tough to find minutes for him. Like, I think you can find minutes for Keon Ellis, even if he's going of whatever from the field, because you can throw him on multiple guys defensively and he has versatility on that side of the floor. where is the versatility for Davon Mitchell offensively and defensively? I'm telling you, he can really only guard point guards or the guys who have the ball in their hand, which is fine. That's great. That's incredibly useful. But in today's day and age in basketball, with the amount of switches that goes on, I mean, the Kings switch literally every single screen. You have to be able to guard multiple people defensively, and his height just limits him severely in that factor. And offensively, he's not playing point guard. He's not playing your backup distributor. So he's kind of standing in the corner, and he's not great at that. You would much rather, if Davion's going to stand in the corner, I would much rather have even Chris Duarte be that guy who stands in the corner, because has a track record of being a better shooter in that spot. And so it's kind of like, find me the place in which you think Davon has his most value, and I can probably show you somebody else on the roster who brings a similar value to the table.
Davon Mitchell is shooting 33.3% from three-point land this season. He's 10 for 30.
Mm-hmm. Do you have his previous season's numbers up there just by any chance?
I do. In 2022, he shot 31.6% from three.
That's not going to do it.
Last season, he shot 32%. So it's going up. Yeah. It's going up.
It factually
on a Tuesday.
It is factually going up for sure.
It's just not going up enough.
And it's not even at average level.
You talk about being the backup distributor. Davon Mitchell is averaging 2.8 assists.
Yeah, I mean, that's not great. That's definitely it's not terrible. It's definitely not nothing, but if you're talking I'd assume that's on somewhere near 20 minutes a game.
21 minutes a game.
That's just not enough. That's per 36, that's under 8 assists per. That's not enough. I don't think that's enough minutes or not enough production again anywhere really to justify bringing him on or continuing to not look in other directions, because frankly, I just think Keon Ellis can give you statistically exactly what Davon has provided with those numbers. I don't see why Keon Ellis can't give that. And again, I think if you're going to say, okay, but Davion's this great defender, I think Keon Ellis is every bit of a defender that Davon is, and you get about 4 or 5 inches as well. So I just feel like Davon doesn't really bring an undoubtable role anywhere on this team.
No. And, being in the post-game press conference, I don't have the exact quotes on me, but I can tell you that this is a business, and Mike Brown is a player's coach, and he understands, hey, we don't want to lose anybody.
Right.
But Mike Brown talking last night about Keon Ellis and about Davon making his way back, it was really the vibe I got was, he'll get an opportunity and we'll see what he does with it. And that's
talking about Keon or talking about
Davon.
Davon will get the opportunity.
He'll get an opportunity again at some point, and we'll see what happens. But it does not seem like a situation, even though he talked about Alex Len and how he did really good in kind of the mop-up duty in Houston, and which led to Alex Len getting more time. Maybe there's a situation like that.
Right.
But if the reason you got to mop-up duty is because Keon Ellis helped you get to that point,
exactly.
Right? That mop-up duty was different in Houston because you were getting smacked.
And everybody was getting smacked.
Exactly.
So,
mop-up duty in a win is not the same because you're in mop-up duty because we did our job.
Exactly.
So it's going to be quite the road back for Davon Mitchell if they even deem him still a necessity on this, not on the team, but in the rotation because of Keon Ellis. Now, Keon needs to stop turning the ball over, and he does have to hit some of these shots because it's not as if Keon's shooting percentage is worlds better than Davon. The situation is that if neither of them are going to shoot well, you get more length and you get more versatility defensively with Keon. So that is a situation right now. And if you're going to leave Keon in there and he does start to hit shots, then why would you even go back to Davon besides, we thought yesterday, I almost looked like Nate guessing JaVale McGee would have 3 offensive boards in one sitting because I almost went Davon.
Yeah.
I said Darius Garland is 6'1". You got
other Mitchell.
Mitchell. I was going to wait and see if I could pull it up. Donovan Mitchell at about 6'3". This could be an opportunity for Davon, and he didn't even play.
Crazy. And I think that's a huge a huge statement that was made. I don't think it was intentionally the statement that was made, but yeah, the fact that you laid it out so perfectly. You had me convinced yesterday. It was like, yeah, it makes so much sense. These two guards are almost the perfect guys that are going to show Davion's value. And the fact that I'm guarantee Mike Brown and his staff, that thought probably crossed their mind as well. The fact that they thought about that as well. And it was like, I'm still not going with him. I think that tells a lot about where his standing is right now.
Yeah. And the question becomes, because defense doesn't slump. So if you're willing to ride with Keon, I don't know if he's going to continue to get this many minutes, but if you're going to ride with Keon and he's not making shots, what would Keon have to do to lose his spot?
Yeah. He would have to actively start turning the ball over, I think. And
Which,
honestly, I don't think he has the ball in his hands enough to turn the ball over.
No.
And he's been really smart. I continue to really praise how he hasn't at any point said, all right, Keon, coaches are telling me I need to shoot more and I need to be involved. Let me make a point to make sure that I do that so they can't tell me that tomorrow. We haven't seen that. And I still think I would much rather have Keon ease himself into the offense than just going all out, balls to the wall, and just, firing that thing. So I like the way Keon Ellis has approached his offensive game so far.
Got to get to a break. When we get back, we'll talk about being self-aware. And one NBA player who seems to have self-awareness and how it comes off, and another former NBA player who doesn't seem to have the same self-awareness. And we have some numbers here from David Lombardi of The Athletic as we ask the question, is Brock Purdy better than Josh Allen? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
Every triple, every jam, every Kings win.
Sabonis with the jam over the Joker. He's got the three-point shot.
Get your Kings fix all season long.
Right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Whitey here reminding you that not all grills are created equal. Give your family a real treat. Bring out all the flavors of the holidays with the amazing Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill is turning me into a pro. Napoleon Grills has features other grills can't match. They're built different, built better, built to last, complete with a lifetime warranty. I may never want to cook indoors again. All made with premium steel that boasts absolute quality. Just go to Napoleon.com for your nearby Napoleon Grills dealer. Napoleon Grills. Now is the time for the best selection of grills and fine accessories for the holidays.
Yeah, that trailer hitch and folding bed cover from Trucksmart makes road trips a breeze.
Right? I'm so much more organized on the job site since Trucksmart installed my truck rack and toolbox.
And they had it all in stock, so I just waited as they installed everything.
Take a look at this sweet Rhino truck lining. They sprayed it on.
Yeah, you win. That is sweet.
Trucksmart, truck and SUV accessories for on the road and the job site. Stop by one of our 2 locations in Rockland or Auburn. Trucksmart.com. Your truck's gonna love them.
This holiday season, create a fun and joyful memory for you and your loved ones. Come light the world and help those in need through the Giving Machine in the Roseville Galleria Mall, November 16th through December 10th, and in Modesto at Valley Fair Mall, December 11th through January 2nd. Choose from local charities serving your community or from global charities worldwide. Come feel the Christmas spirit at the Giving Machine. Learn more at givingmachine.greatersacramentomodesto.org.
When every shot counts, the professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio encourage you to try the brand new Titleist T-Series irons. Irons designed to enhance your play through control, distance, flight, forgiveness, looks, sound, and feel. With 4 T-Series models, the fitting team at Hagen Oaks will find the perfect Titleist T-Series iron for you. Call 916-808-2531 to find your fit today. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway, or online at HagenOaks.com.
One of the things with running is I want to enjoy the run, but I never made it very far because the arches in my feet just killed me. So when I got to the end of my rope and I said, I have to do something to get rid of the pain, and a couple people recommended the Good Feet store to me. I loved how I could go in and get a free personalized arch support fitting. They put that time, that work, that effort into helping you find the right arch supports. And you can walk around this store with these in your shoes and try them out before you purchase them. So after I got my arch supports, the arches at my feet stopped hurting and the pain instantly, literally instantly went away. So if you have pain, go. Find a Good Feet store and go. There is an answer. Find the simple solution that will get rid of your pain. I'm Rondi, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Knee, hip, foot, leg, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
When every shot counts, the professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio encourage you to try the brand new Titleist T-Series irons. Irons designed to enhance your play through control, distance, flight, forgiveness, looks, sound, and feel. With 4 T-Series models, the fitting team at Hagen Oaks will find the perfect Titleist T-Series iron for you. Call 916-808-2531 to find your fit today. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway, or online at hagenoaks.com.
Awesome. Hey, babe, can you check the front door? My package is here.
Yeah, on it. Hey, are we still watching our show tonight?
New episode on Prime? You bet. That reminds me, let's hit Whole Foods this afternoon. We need snack supplies.
From package deliveries to entertainment and even fresh groceries, Amazon is in front of thousands of customers every single day. Learn how you can leverage their reach for your business. Text digital to 916-766-5105 now. Make the smart move. Text digital to 916-766-5105.
Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, 30 more minutes with you on this beautiful Tuesday. Taking you up to the Drive Guys with Whitey and Draper. They will be in for some crosstalk. Shout out to our winner of our on-air contest to see Sammy Hagar August 16th at Toyota Amphitheater. Shout out to Larry and Antelope. So shout out to Larry. Good for you. We hope you enjoy. YouTube chat having a nice conversation about Davon Mitchell as we talk about the road back for Davon. And something that Manny Too Legit says and CK916 says, CK916, if the games are closer and Keon Ellis is still missing those open threes, we're going to have a conversation because somebody's got to make them. And we know Mike Brown. I mean, we've seen multiple changes so far. If Keon isn't able to kind of find that footing, which we know he can, because we saw him hit him in the preseason. We saw him hit him in Mapabooty. He had what, 15
in that Houston game?
Yeah. So he definitely can shoot the basketball, but it's a little bit different when you are doing it on the big stage. So we will see what happens there. I wanted to talk to you about a couple different stories around the NBA.
Yeah.
Because I find it very interesting, just kind of the human mind and how some people are not comfortable with showing any sign of weakness, right?
Sure.
You talk about the quote unquote Mamba mentality and things like that. And knowing your role sometimes, but also that fine line between knowing your role and also just saying, hey, had a good run, I'm going to move forward, right? So the first one here is with the Celtics, who are rolling. By the way, absolutely rolling. They are the best, statistically the best starting five in the NBA right now. They are crushing their opponents. So we got to look up. We were looking down the schedule. The Kings have a tough schedule, by the way.
Brutal.
We were looking up when the Kings play the Celtics. So that will be a great game when that happens. But Kristaps Porzingis, who was once booed in New York, was used as part of the experiment with Luka as Mark Cuban. And we talked about Mark Cuban, big Mark Cuban show today.
Yeah.
We talk about
cubes,
right? Trying to figure out Luka ball, and that didn't work out. In Dallas, finds himself with the Celtics. And what I found interesting is that Porzingis went on to say, I think I'm better on a championship contender as the third or fourth option.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting because right now we find ourselves in a world where you can't show any weakness and you have to, I'm the guy. And sometimes this stuff doesn't even make sense,
For sure.
right? So Ja Morant, what was it, last year maybe or the year before when he was hot in the streets, is sitting here saying,
He's been hot.
Well, he's been hot in the streets, not for the right reasons.
Too hot.
Too hot. The block is hot.
Yeah.
We don't need all that. And he sits there and says, I think I'm the best player in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm better than Steph Curry. Right now, I'm the best point guard. And I find myself on the fence, which I don't like to be, but find myself very often between I understand that confidence,
right?
But also, do you actually believe what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe what you're saying?
Yeah.
Do
and
you
is it worth if you do acknowledge that in your private life Steph Curry is the best player, is it wrong to say that?
Right.
Because it feels like they feel like if they go out and say that, they'll be criticized for it.
Right.
Like, oh, this guy, look at this defeatist mentality or something like. And I completely agree. I think I personally love to hear Porzingis have that sort of self-realization. Of course, it's not, ideally, like you said, it's not that dog mentality. It's not the I always believe I'm the best player on this team, or I always think that I'm the person that can help the most. I also wonder if it is, truly one of those. It was a big talk of debate this summer, but is it the difference between European basketball players and American-born basketball players, where there is this, Michael Jordan, you have to be the GOAT if you're playing, everybody's trying to be the best, and you get through the AAU circuit, which is pretty much individuals joining teams and showcasing themselves and not necessarily working together as a unit, where, in Porzingis's case, he comes from Latvia and he comes in the international system where, look at a guy like Sasha Vezenkov. He went from bench to starter on 3 different teams before he eventually gets to the NBA, where he looks to make a very similar path of, okay, yeah, when I was 16, I was riding the pine for Barcelona or something like that. And I had to learn to get through that just to climb the ranks of being a role player, understanding what I can do to earn floor time, and then slowly growing into a star, or into, even if it is just a glue guy. That system doesn't exist here in the NBA. And I wonder, or in America, I should say, I wonder how much of that is Porzingis has that experience of knowing, hey, like, there's only one player who can be the best player on this team.
Yeah.
That means everybody else has to fill some sort of role. And I recognize when I'm playing with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, those guys are clearly better than I am, or can impact this game more than I can. But that doesn't mean that I can't still put my imprint on this game. And I think having that mindset and that mentality, I would love to see more often in more specifically basketball, but sports in general. I think people knowing their role and accepting their role and living in that role, to me, that's what keeps you long term. Like, not everyone can be the star.
No, not everyone can be the star. Not everyone has to have the mindset of Dion Waiters.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. J.R. Smith.
Or J.R. Smith. And I get all that. And
we're looking at you, Jordan Poole.
We're Jordan Poole. Have fun, man.
Yeah,
have fun.
have
So I thought that was just to see Porzingis. I said, you know what? That's refreshing, because there's nothing wrong with it. And really, it's just a matter of the NBA is a collection of guys who were all studs.
Yes.
Right? Look
absolutely.
up Austin Rivers' mixtape in high school. And then when you get there to NBA, there's a bunch of other Austin Rivers that are taller and faster and bigger than you.
Yep.
Right? So there is a bit of that self-awareness. And I say all this to say somebody else that I really like, as we get to a break here, Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas, and we're talking about the Celtics, Isaiah Thomas. Zon King great, by the way.
Yeah,
King's
King
great.
legend. Yeah.
King's legend, by the way. So now Isaiah Thomas, and I see Whitey looking at me behind the glass. Just wait about 1 minute, Whitey. You can have your piece.
Yeah.
Come in here right now.
Whitey of the Drive Guys.
Whitey of the Drive Guys.
From
Listen
2 to 6. Every single
That's
weekday.
Right. That's right.
Monday through Friday.
And Isaiah Thomas is out here. I guess he called the Hornets about a backup point guard position.
Yeah.
Isaiah, brother, we love you. Okay, you're lefty like me. I like to think that we were the same height if we stood next to each other.
Probably.
It was a great run.
It was.
It was a great
phenomenal.
run, and I know you feel like something got maybe taken from you because of the hip situation and everything like that. Just look at it as a good run. Okay, you're hitting up teams to do what? To be a backup? I mean, it's been, 5 years since he's been doing this? And I don't know what it is. I mean, I guess these guys, and Whitey did have a good point. He said if they listen to guys like you, they never would have made it to the NBA. That's fine, but he's 34 now with hip problems. Okay, how about this? I'm not saying don't hoop. I'm saying it's been a good run. Go to the big 3 and just enjoy some good basketball.
For sure. I mean, yeah, we could go on a full segment about what you're talking about, but yeah, just from the most part, it is just sad and I don't know what sad probably isn't the right word, but seeing guys like Isaiah, seeing guys like DeMarcus and Dwight Howard who have to just throw their names into conversations just to keep their name afloat in the job pool. you just hate to see it.
By the way, another Kings great, Boogie Cousins.
Exactly, yeah.
And I know what these places are doing, or these accounts.
Yes, the NBA Centrals of the world.
Yes, growing strong interest in China. And I'm not making a joke here. That is what they say.
That is what it says.
Then you get to play basketball.
Yeah.
You get to play basketball, all right? So, Isaiah, go overseas.
Yeah.
I feel like the thing about Isaiah that bugs me a bit is that he probably could go overseas, right? But he wants to be in the NBA. So if you're too good to go overseas, if Dwight Howard can go to Taiwan and Boogie can go to
I think it
China,
was Costa Rica. Or
right. So I don't know. Whitey is going to roast me on it. Got to get to a break. And I will be honest with you. We never got to answer the question about who's better between Brock and Josh Allen. And that's why you will need to tune in tomorrow, 10 a.m., 2 p.m., Stiles and Watkins. We got crossover up next with the Drive Guys. We'll talk to you. Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
The annoying runny nose, the constant sneezing, the itchiness, and battle just to catch your breath. If you suffer from seasonal allergies, sinusitis, or nagging sinus congestion, there's a natural, easy-to-use solution that can help provide fast, drug-free relief. It's called Navage, and it uses powered suction to rinse your nasal passages in seconds. Millions of people use Navage daily to help provide relief from seasonal allergies and sinus congestion. Medications treat the symptoms, but Navage treats the problem at the source, flushing out the allergens and pollen trapped in your nose. Navage also helps wash out airborne bacteria, dust, dirt, and viruses quickly and painlessly so you can get back to breathing clearly again. Say goodbye to sinus suffering and hello to better breathing with Navage. Navage is available at Walmart, Walgreens, Target, CVS, Rite Aid, and online at Navage.com. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
I always approach the holidays with a sense of excitement and a time to be with family. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. From the time I was a youngster, the family table was always filled with a gathering of grandparents, uncles, aunts, brothers, and sisters. It was that way at my noni's home, especially at my mother's home, and today at my own home around my Naturewood dining table. The order of the day is stories, the sweet sound of children laughing. Thanks for all the blessings we each enjoy, and of course, food. Always lots of food. Home is always adorned with special trimmings which remind of past gatherings, good times shared, and relatives that have passed on. Family-owned Naturewood Home Furnishings recognizes the significance of the holidays, and buyers pay special attention to find the distinctive pieces of furniture that you'll love for its individuality today and treasure for memories you'll have tomorrow. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
It's the first ever Elk Grove Kia Frozen Turkey Bowling Extravaganza on November 18th, 2023 from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. That's right, a frozen turkey becomes the bowling ball, and 10 liquid-filled plastic beverage bottles are your pins. It's not just bowling, it's an adventure. Knock down those pins. Each pin has a number attached to it, which means your skills can lead you to awesome prizes. And guess what? Each person gets 2 rolls, so you can aim for perfection. Now, how can you be part of this amazing event? Simple. Register at Elk Grove Kia for one of the 8 coveted spots through a raffle. But hurry, the registration deadline is November 17th, 2023 at 6 p.m. sharp. And here's the best part. No purchase is necessary. That's right. It's all about the fun and games. So make your way to Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall today for a chance to win a spot at the inaugural Elk Grove Kia Turkey Bowl. Rules and regulations at elkgrovekia.com.
Elk Grove Kia.
Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up AutoSave in the Chase mobile app. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools, one bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
AutoSave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Stick to the plan. Trust no one.
From the director of 7, Fight Club, and Gone Girl,
Anticipate. Don't improvise.
Michael Fassbender.
Forbid empathy. Empathy is weakness. Weakness is vulnerability. This is what it takes if you want to succeed.
The Killer. Rated R. Under 17. Not admitted without parent. Now playing. Only on Netflix.
Guys, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is making you this guarantee. We will improve the medical condition of your ED or low T, or we'll give you your money back. Book today. Call 916-277-8599 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. 15 more minutes with you, joined by Whitey and Draper, the Drive guys.
Hey. What's up, fellas?
Oh, you know, just living the dream. And look,
we was younger. I used to think, come on, what? They're spoiling their legacy. They're ruining their legacy. Guy wants to play. Because once you're done, you're done. Mm-hmm. We all know that at different levels. You played baseball at a high level. So if a guy wants to play, I don't blame him. And he made fun of himself. Someone on Twitter said, hey, you should talk to Mitch Kupchak. And he said, I did, LOL. So it's like he's calling himself out on that.
That's what I saw. Funny. Right, yeah. No, but that's what I saw. I really don't have a problem with it. To me, it's just a matter of, hey, man, and, people are saying, oh, well, if he wants to keep going, or who are you to say? I'm not saying it. The league is saying it. They've been saying it for the last 5 years.
Sure. Yeah.
So I guess
you just want him to give up on the dream.
I'm not saying give up on the dream, but why not?
You're encouraging people to give up on their dreams.
That's what.
Why not go overseas? Why not go overseas and go put up big numbers? It's almost, to me, it's confusing because you're too good to do that.
Just want to go overseas. That's okay, right?
Man loves Seattle, Washington. Man.
Okay. All right. Let's talk Trey Lyles.
All right. Let's talk Trey Lyles.
I don't really get it. So Trey Lyles, I just saw a tweet from Sean Cunningham, our guy, encouraging sight for Kings fans as Trey Lyles goes through an individual workout ahead of the 6-game road trip. Lyles has been out after suffering the calf strain during pregame warmups in San Francisco on October 18th. And it's Trey Lyles going through his warm-up routine. Looks good. This rotation, it's moving a lot. It's fluid, but minutes are hard to come by. Do you think they could be hard to come by for Trey Lyles, or is there a spot for him, a need for him right now?
No, I think there's definitely a spot for him. And, one thing we haven't seen from this Kings team really is them going small.
Right.
Usually it's been Domas and then JaVale McGee or Alex Len, because they don't have a small ball forward that can fill that position. Mm-hmm. Trey Lyles is that guy. And so I think what you'll see is when Trey comes back, when he's fully healthy, maybe Alex Len doesn't get the minutes. Maybe JaVale McGee doesn't get the minutes. And so he's going to be a huge part, I think, of what they do the rest of the season.
Yeah, he's a good shooter. Do we know anything about Alex Len, by the way?
I haven't seen
nothing new. Nothing. I haven't heard nothing new.
Yeah, it seemed interesting yesterday. It seemed like he got rolled up on. It didn't seem like super. I mean, cool. I
just noticed he wasn't walking on.
I'm not a doctor, but it seemed like it got rolled up on, and it definitely didn't seem like it got caught or anything. Doesn't seem like it's going to be season ending or anything too serious like that. But definitely, that's high ankle sprains, one of those things, especially with guys who are 7 feet tall. Definitely don't want to rush those back.
Yeah, and we do our Beeman or Dreamin' segment here. Very, very good stuff. And that's basically where we say if you're Beeman, you believe that the Kings can get further than they got last season.
On the right
track.
If
you are dreaming, that means that they're not going to get there. And I remember having a conversation with you, Mr. Draper, about the Kings and where they could land in terms of the Western Conference standings, right? And you thought maybe I was going a little bit high there. I said 1 seed. I said, why not? But you're starting to see, for me, some of the cracks in the armor for some of these other teams that I think we knew would happen. Steph Curry missing time. The Suns, first time playing as a big three, I think tonight or tomorrow night. Then you have Jamal Murray missing time. I included the Nuggets, and the Nuggets are going to be good. And then you have the young Bucks that are trying to make a push, like the Timberwolves. I guess you could throw the Thunder in there. The surprising team for me would be the Mavericks, who I don't think anybody saw coming, 8-2, still early in the season. But does it look like, I mean, I don't think the Kings are going to shoot 60% from the field every single game, but does it look like they have the opportunity to be at least where they were last season, but maybe even past.
Oh, for sure. But the problem for the Kings is there are 8 other teams that can be that way as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how the Western Conference is. And I feel like we learned last week, Whitey, like this, and G-Man said it, I think, yesterday, it's going to be a roller coaster this season. They're playing great right now. But, in December or January, there's going to be another 2 or 3 game losing streak where we're like, oh, my gosh, should they go get Zack LaVine? Should they make some moves? And so based off the last 3 games, yes. Now, the Warriors, I've always felt like they were, the Kings were clearly better than them. And we're seeing that this year. They got off to a great start. But I said it yesterday and been saying Steph has to be superhuman for them. And now that he's going to miss some time, they're going to fall off even more. And so the team I'm worried about, Denver, obviously. I think Phoenix, when fully healthy, they'll get it together. I can't see the Mavs sustaining this level of play, even though I like some of the moves they made this offseason. They were underrated moves. Getting a guy like Grant Williams. Lively is a tremendous really good. Young rookie. And so, but I just can't. Any team with Kyrie is hard to fully believe in, right?
Yeah, Minnesota's scary to me, and I did not think they were going to be very good this year. A lot of people, analytics people, thought they were. I think Allen was real high on Minnesota, and I saw him play the Warriors, as a lot of people did. And the more I watch him play, the more I realize, wow, I think I might have been really wrong about this team.
Scary.
We'll see.
I mean, Minnesota's just got so many lineups. I mean, realistically, they play 48 minutes of great centers, whether it be Karl Anthony Towns, whether it be Rudy Gobert, who's had a nice resurgence, or Naz Reid.
Yeah.
That's just a really not a lot of teams can deal with that. And then you throw on Anthony Edwards, who's made this leap. And I mean, if Karl Anthony Towns can figure out, he's kind of had a slow start to the season. I'm a huge Mike Conley guy as well.
Me too.
I just think
they got him, they got.
I think that
better.
just changes things. That just it just makes them a lot more serious. I kind of compare it to, like the Kings going from Jason Williams to Mike Bibby. It was like, okay, maybe the D'Angelo Russell era was fun. You had some high scoring, you had some hype, but if you're serious about winning basketball games, Mike Conley is a veteran winner. And to me, I think come playoff time, that's the exact kind of leadership that I think. Frankly, I think that's what the Kings are looking for from Harrison Barnes. We were kind of earlier talking about what exactly the veteran leadership for Harrison Barnes looks like. I think in an ideal world, it's Mike Conley. It's bringing a level of professionalism and seriousness to that team. And I kind of feel like the Kings are still missing that element of things, of just not letting De'Aaron Fox miss games, ultimately completely tank what's been what could have been a really fun start to the season.
Yeah, and obviously the news dropped a little bit earlier today, and Draper alluded to it, with Zack LaVine and the Bulls being a little bit more open about, hey,
there's no way Whitey's in on that.
I don't know if people understand. Well, number one, the Harrison Barnes thing, not being able to move him until later in the year because you just extended him. And number two, I don't think I realize how much money that Zack LaVine is making
massive,
and how much it's going to go up.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a guy, I think he's a good player, 2-time All-Star, making $40 million this year, and it's going to get up as high if he takes the player option in 2027 to $48.9 million.
Yeah, I think he's a really good player. I think he's kind of an ISO ball guy, and I think that's one of the reasons they're having issues there. The players aren't happy about the offense, and I just don't think a guy like that would be necessarily a good fit here. To me, it's that simple. I know he's very talented, though, so there's more to it, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, and the other Bulls around there, we've seen Alex Caruso's name thrown out a lot. Maybe the question always becomes, when you are a fan or anybody working with trades, who are you willing to give up? Because fans are always going to say, oh, I'm going to give up this person that we barely play, and they don't like to be realistic and say, hey, a trade means that the other team wants something back that they can also use.
It's like in fantasy football. I'll trade you, you give me Justin Jefferson, I'll give you, I'll give you Juwan Jennings, and how about Elijah Mitchell? I'm not really using
Except for the 49er trade for Chase Young.
Of course.
Right. They get Chase Young and they get a draft pick back that's better probably than the one they sent out for him.
Yep.
Keep finessing John Lynch.
There you go. All right. We're getting to how to be real quick, Whitey, just while I have
Quicker.
you.
Yes, go.
Brock Purdy or Josh Allen?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, I'm on record on this program as saying Brock Purdy.
Wow, we'll get into it tomorrow. But listen to the Drive Guys coming up right now, 2 to 6 p.m. Thank you for listening to Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship